Real fans, Jesse Swift and Sean Wingblade here, welcoming you to our late night special, the Swift Wings Speakeasy. For the next couple hours, anything goes. We're here to talk about life, film, and maybe some childhood trauma. If there's anything we didn't cover on Monday's show, or you think we should review a 3-decade-old movie, this is the place to make it happen. This show is designed for all of us to just get back and toss out the itinerary. Expect random trivia, podcasts, and loads more. We're like Bertie Bot's jelly beans. Might be dirt, might be bogey. Either way, expect disappointment. Donations work a little differently as you can decide where your dollar lands and whose goal you want to help reach. So whether you came here to ask about Jesse's stage play experience or to ask Sean what extraterrestrial creature gave him the name Wingblade, you've come to the right spot.
Hello, ghouls and goblins and all the spooky people out there on the internet. 'Tis I, Jesse Swift, and my super amazing co-host, Mr. Sean Wingblade, welcoming you to our first All Hallows Eve Speakeasy theme thing. I don't know. I'm wearing a gas station mask. That's where we're at tonight. How you doing today, buddy?
That's where we're at tonight. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing quite well.
Yeah. You look different.
I just didn't put my face on today.
Something? Oh, did not put your face on as opposed to putting this on. Got it. Okay.
That's right.
We're rolling with this.
Yeah, I just am finishing up getting a week off that I didn't ask for because my back started hurting at work, and they're like, "Oh, well, you need to go get a doctor's note, and you need to file for workman's comp." I was like, "I literally pulled something. I'm fine. Just let me have the day off." And they're like, "Nope, you got to you got to be released back to work," and they forced me to take a full week off, and I was like, "This is dumb."
That's much more than you wanted to, probably unpaid, I'm guessing.
I don't even know yet. It's still in the atmosphere. But for those of you that don't know, the Swift Wings Speakeasy is basically water cooler talk to end your week or kick off your week, however you want to look at it. You know, we go Sunday into Monday. It's a little bit of both. Talk about movies and TVs and things that have happened recently or life things. And we try to have some guests on so we can have some interesting conversation. No one gets bored of just me and Sean shooting the shit every week. Luckily, we got some surprise guests right off the bat. I mean, you can see in the corner of the thumbnail here, we do have some people coming on here in a little bit, and that is the Dungeon Crew for you Schmodown fans or Schmo Daddies and Schmo Mamas. But for right now, we do have a Tony Award-winning guest making his return to the show, one of my favorite people, and also one of my other favorite people, all coming on one camera. Stop talking, Jesse. Let me welcome to the stream Maxwell and Amber. How you guys doing?
Hi.
You won a Tony Award?
I did. You were there when it happened.
Oh.
He hasn't told anybody. He's keeping it pretty hush hush.
Twitter, you can get a notification on that one.
No.
Right.
Thank you for giving me this platform, this just hugely watched, really prestigious platform to announce that I won this award a couple weeks ago.
This is your moment. Please let everyone know.
My moment.
This is what
actually.
Listen, I had two choices. I was offered the premier guest spot on the Tonight Show or Swiftblade, and I went for Swiftblade.
I'm glad you even got the name right.
I just assumed that's what it was. Oh, is it Swift Wings?
Yeah.
I like
it right there.
I like Swiftblade better.
That sounds like a threat.
Swiftblade. Listen, if you don't let me on your show to make my announcement, I'm gonna cut you with a Swiftblade.
That's how everyone else gets on the show. They just threaten us.
So
our first guest was video driven.
We have random guests and oh my god, is that Tony Award winner Maxwell Head?
Stop it, Eric. So head writer of the Schmodown himself, PJ Campbell, is asleep on my couch through this wall.
Oh.
And speaking of Swiftblades, the Switchblade is asleep in the guest room.
So we set up camp in here. We have snacks and drinks and
yeah.
We're gonna watch TV and movies, and
I have a drink that tastes like one of my
Ferris
favorite snacks.
Ferris is gonna come in the chat and say, "What the hell?"
Hi, Ferris.
Hey, Ferris.
Hey, Ferris.
Long time no see, buddy.
I was one of the things that always bums me out is that every week I'm like, there's shows and stuff that I would love to talk about because I never get talking about them on my Monday show because Scott doesn't watch all the same stuff I do. And so when I hear from Sean that he has not watched the Ted Lasso season finale, and then I hear from all of our upcoming guests that they have not watched Midnight Mass, I am just at a loss. And I feel like crawling into the dark depths of where I came from and just crying myself to sleep from night and letting Sean take the show.
I watched the Ted Lasso finale.
As did I.
Yes. You guys can discuss it, and I will just run away so I don't get spoiled.
Oh, oh, she's like, peace. And I'm like,
okay, perfect. We've been waiting for this moment
your show.
to kick you off your show.
I'll just say that it was wonderful,
Well,
and
I do come in and take over host and mod spots from a lot of people.
It is true. I've seen that happen live.
Mhm.
You're just like, oh, off the rails? Yes, I am a part of this
No,
now.
that actually wasn't me. I didn't do that. That was him.
I did make a character prediction that came to be true, so that was cool.
It was a great finale of what I thought was just a sensational season of television.
As I told Lauren, I'm getting really tired of crying every week at this show.
Yes.
I've only seen the most minor of things. Luckily, I've avoided a lot on Twitter, but I've seen stuff like, Nate this, Nate that. So I can only assume he showed his very true colors.
Yes.
And we get to see the shitbag that he has become.
That's a way to put it. Yeah.
Okay.
Ted Lasso is one of those things where, like, yeah, I would never want to be spoiled about it, but I think that if you are, it doesn't really, unless you're spoiled like a season ahead or something. If you're like an episode behind it, there's not really much to spoil.
Right.
It's like, oh, this happened. You're like, oh, okay, I'm still gonna watch it. Like, it's not. It doesn't hinge on the plot necessarily.
Yeah, it's true. We found ourselves on Facebook, so it's like we're literally watching what we're saying in captions on Facebook. I was like, oh,
Isn't that fun? So hopefully people watching want to get involved too, but this is the show where we have no structure, and Sean gets really mad at me anytime I try to inject any form or semblance of structure.
Yes.
So what I was just trying to say is I was like, how about a theme? I'd love to have a theme for the next week or two because we are in spooky season. So any opportunity to just talk about Halloween related things that people love or spooky things, favorite horror movies, favorite shows, why Mike Flanagan is as great as he is. Does anyone remember like some of their first night?
I thought you made a dramatic pause just now. You froze.
I wasn't looking, so I thought he made a dramatic pause as well. And I was like, oh,
It definitely felt like a dramatic pause.
Right? I was like, oh, he's just gonna leave it there. He's leaving us. Oh yes.
What? Where did it freeze at?
Well, you're back now.
When I was a kid, till I was about 12, I was terrified of everything. I had to sleep with the lights on in the bathroom. I'd always check for monsters. I had a dream catcher.
We all know we're safe under the sheets, though. That is the unspoken rule.
The first thing I ever really remember terrifying me was an episode of the television show Salute Your Shorts, featuring Zeke the plumber.
Okay.
I have gone back and looked at clips of this. My God, this thing is scary. Let me see if I can find a photo.
Oh boy.
While you're doing that, Jesse.
Yes, sir. Are the guests? Or
yes, I just figured you would want to do an introduction.
I will address Tyler Hall in the chat here. Hey, buddy. Hopefully someday you come on the show. My buddy Tyler here just had a baby. So
Babies.
2 days ago. Yeah, babies. And yeah, this is from 7-Eleven. What the hell?
that is creepy.
That's Zeke the plumber.
Oh boy.
I don't like it.
Yes, Eric knows what's up. Zeke the plumber was not meant for children. Well, I saw him as a child and traumatized me
I
for
remember
years.
seeing that, and I'm like,
Now I have a Zeke the plumber T-shirt that I think is probably too big for me.
Do you ever go to the park and just terrorize children? Look at it. Look at it.
Okay, schmo bodies. We have
you missed an opportunity 5 minutes ago.
Clearly.
in the lobby here, in the waiting lobby, we have roughly half the dungeon crew waiting to pop on screen, and it is a couple of two of them. It's their first time on the channel, so that's really fun. But we only have to take up one more camera space, so awesome! Thank you guys for being prepared. Can I see that we have a monkey in the middle? Hey everybody, we got Robert Parker, Mark Anopic, and Mike Myers, Austin Powers himself in the flesh. How's it going?
This is actually William Shatner.
Oh, okay.
They obviously got the memo. They understood the assignment.
Zeke, the plumber. Zeke, the plumber.
No.
Dan, do you actively remember that?
You have murdered him.
I remember Zeke the plumber.
Oh.
And I'm wearing a mock-up shirt, so it's
All right.
perfect.
I have to look this up on YouTube. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He's gonna go watch it right now.
Listen, just make sure you're mentally prepared for the terror that's about to ensue.
Maybe I don't want to. Maybe this is a horrible idea. It was the first thing that popped up when I started searching for it.
You know what's funny? This mask is like paper thin, but the amount that I'm sweating underneath it is just out of this. Dan's probably like got sweat going down his neck right now.
Okay, hey, hold on. Hey, you have to take a selfie of all this because this is fucking ridiculous. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say a bad word? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Fuck no.
I'm so sorry.
Keep it
I didn't ask it in advance. I didn't mean to.
I also
Go for it. It's a late night. It's a late night show for a reason.
If you have a show after 11 o'clock and you're like, keep it clean, who are you keeping it clean for?
Your
Right.
phone recognizes your face, Dan.
keep it clean for the kids.
The question is it more terrifying than Bent Neck Lady? Because
Okay, it's only 2 minutes long. I'm gonna watch it.
perfect. I am really curious now, especially with you guys on the show. Do you remember a movie or TV show or event or something that gave you nightmares? Like, what's one of your earliest nightmare memories?
Can you hear me through this mask?
Oh, enough. When you lean forward.
Sound like Bane.
You sound like the adults
It
from
was when the
Peanuts.
time I was in the darkness. No,
Yes.
there was a Garfield Halloween special.
Shut up.
We went to a haunted island, and there's a creepy old man in front of a fireplace, and it scared the piss out of me.
I can't top that answer.
All I know is that somebody in this feed might have had me watch when you walked through the Winchester Mystery House.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Like, this is the murder room. Yes.
He just kept hitting his head. There were so many edits that they cut out of him hitting his head.
Like, I walked through there and I was like, it was not as interesting when I walked through there. I was like, this is boring.
The funniest thing about that mask is how, no matter what anyone says, you look thoroughly unamused.
Even if laughing, you're like, no, you're
Yeah,
unamused.
your body language, the mask, you're just like, fuck this.
Dan Merle is not impressed.
He's having none of it.
But
I
I think
didn't even know it was possible for you to get whiter.
You're gonna make up PJ.
You
If
laugh
you-
louder than me.
Like,
if
legit,
you live in-
my dad doesn't want to know him because he's white. So this is hilarious. I can
If
tell
you
my
live
dad
in
he's about
Washington,
whiter.
if you live in Washington, it is possible to be whiter because we don't have sun. Michael Myers is actually based off of a Seattleite.
Oh,
But I love that you guys were able to cobble that together.
I'm sitting here like this. I'm like,
Once again, everyone, welcome to the show about nothing and also whatever we want.
What scared you as a kid?
Oh, everything. I
Parker
was
still
very
is a
scared.
kid. What's
Yeah, I'm a
scared
very
you?
scared adult. Lots of things. I had many a nightmare of me being murdered. Mostly in hotels or water parks. Those are the most common ones.
Okay.
I was
Like
once
some-
murdered
like
in the
someone-
Colorado. Huh?
Hunting you down in a water park?
Oh yeah, where like I'd be on the slide and then suddenly there wouldn't be any slide and I like go flinging off and then the Joker would come up to me and talk to me about how I deserve to die. That happened a lot. There was one that I remember very specifically where I went down the lazy river and at the end of it was the graveyard scene from Goblet of Fire, the book, not the movie. And Peter Pettigrew wanted to murder me for not giving him a fish.
Oh, hey, Bubba.
That definitely happened. Yeah, I was scared of lots of stuff. I told them the other day how I one time I sleptwalked a lot as a kid, and I woke up locked in my own closet, and it was maybe the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me. It's up there for sure.
When I was a kid, I was scared of my front door. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Was that before or after seeing the movie Beetlejuice? Because that movie made me afraid of my front door.
I wasn't allowed to watch any of that stuff. I was only allowed to watch Disney movies. I was afraid of the little tiny, like the lock on the front door, and I was like, it's staring at me. It felt like it was staring at me. It looked like an eye. That's it.
Interesting.
And there you go. It's my weird thing that I was scared of when I was a kid.
This is my pineapple skull. It's pretty sick up there. One of the things that gave me nightmares early on as a kid that might surprise everyone, it was actually Independence Day. It was one of the first nightmares I remember having. And it was when like the tentacle thing was like wrapped around the dude's neck. He's like pressed against the window. He's like, release me. I had a dream that I was the doctor. And I felt very suffocated. I woke up like gasping for air. And I was like, I don't know.
So you dream of being Brent Spiner. That's your dream in life. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That is my dream. I think I had a problem with aliens as a kid because I also had signs nightmares where I swore I could always hear the alien, like the clicking sound over the baby monitor. I could hear it in silence. Anytime something was quiet, I could hear the baby monitors, and that freaked me out.
Huh.
Who's this guy now?
Oh, hi. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Dan.
Oh, hi.
Hi, buddy.
Where'd Bill go?
He'll
He's hiding behind the couch now. He's peeking over. I can see.
Sir Pounce does not like this mask. He just keeps staring bullets at it.
Hey, buddy.
I don't blame him.
At the
Any-
Reddit.
I'm gonna walk in and find it in Sir Pounce's mouth, like dead. This is dead.
Ironically, M and Burr sounds very similar to saying Amber.
That's exactly right. That's the
This is the old man from the Garfield Halloween.
That's why
Oh,
yes.
Scared the piss out of me.
That's why the production company we started is called Ember Productions.
nice.
Tony winner.
Tyler sharing also had a recurring dream.
Friend.
There was a T-Rex loose in the school hall.
You know what else scared the crap out of me? In James and the Giant Peach, when they go underwater and there's these skeletons underwater. Oh, those things are fucking terrifying.
Can we say Tim Burton bred nightmares?
I remember Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame really freaking me out.
Yeah, that one got
Because
me.
of Catholic guilt, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, but there's like
I was raised Catholic. Correct.
Rap for life, bro.
Hey, buddy.
I was raised Catholic and in New Orleans, so we got the whole parade that went with that movie.
Oh, nice.
So, and then they walked past graveyards and stuff, and we went to see it, and I was like, we're all gonna die.
Also,
Yeah.
The villain from Anastasia, that guy was creepy.
Rasputin.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he would like take his head off and stuff. Yeah, that was weird.
Well, that's
And
just
it would like talk to you in a very animated voice, voiced by Christopher Lloyd.
Right.
It's like,
You know, if we're talking about Christopher Lloyd nightmare fuel, it's actually going to be Who Framed Roger
Who Framed
Rabbit.
Roger, absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Ooh.
We showed my kids that maybe 6 months to a year ago for the first time, and the eyes. Oh, it's. I vividly remember that.
I'm always surprised when you mention you have kids because you're such an immature man.
Can that be the next DVD she throws at your head?
Oh, yeah. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah. You made me watch this?
It won't show up on camera, but I'll try to find one.
That's Wingblade's SPL bit. In all his promos, one of his kids throws a DVD at his face.
It's pretty great.
That's how he studies.
100%. It's the only way to absorb the knowledge, truly, is if it hits me square.
You ever see Evil Donald Duck? That scared me when I was a kid, too.
Wait, what?
Old Donald Duck.
There's a cartoon where Donald Duck becomes evil.
Ooh.
Okay.
Superman 3 kind of thing?
Oh, my
God.
Oh, yeah. That's
Seen that.
Oh, very
Crap out of me.
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
What was your first horror movie? Because I saw Candyman when I was probably 5 years old, and it was way too young to understand the complexity of that movie. But also, I shouldn't have been watching it at 5 years old because I definitely was.
When
I would not walk in a room without a light on.
A little older, but yeah, I definitely watched that when I was in the single digits, like a lot. I used to fall asleep to it.
I grew up at a time where I hadn't seen them, but Freddy Krueger was, through cultural osmosis, someone who was known to me. And I remember when I was a little kid, this was in the late 80s, I would in bed, I would tuck the covers up all the way to my neck, so that if Freddie came for me, I would tell him that I was just ahead, and he wouldn't be interested in me.
He's like, oh, someone already got this one. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because
move
I thought
on.
he was going to come up through the air vent, the air conditioning vent next to my bed.
That
I think-
sounds feasibly terrifying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the first horror movie I ever remember seeing in theaters was Spider-Man 3.
That's fair. That's
Scarred for life.
Like, the first horror movie I saw, because remember, Catholic guilt and years of not getting to watch anything but Disney movies, was the Blair Witch Project.
Mm.
And
That's
most
a
of
scary
that
one.
movie doesn't bother me, but there is something about somebody standing in a corner that just gets me every freaking time.
I think.
Please don't ever do that to me.
I won't.
Thank you.
I think the first horror movie I saw in theaters was I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, nice.
I would have been like 9 or 10.
I just had to go to Google because it's been so long since I've seen anything from it. I remember the first horror movie I saw because my parents left me home alone, and there was like the AMC channel, or I think it was the AMC channel, and I came across This Nightmare.
Oh,
If you are familiar with this, it is Pumpkinhead, and I was ruined from the like television for like a week. It was 1988. This movie is terrifying. I encourage anyone who hasn't looked it up to try watching that. I don't know if it holds up at all, but it freaked me out.
The Spider-Man 3 was the joke answer. The real answer, I didn't start watching.
I thought that was completely serious.
I thought we were rolling with it.
I didn't start watching horror movies really till high school. Like, I just had no interest in them. And I had like unless you count like Scooby-Doo 2 or something like that, which I don't. But I went over to a friend's house and we had a big like sleepover thing in high school, and we watched the movie The Shrine, which I'm sure nobody has ever heard of, but it was on Netflix at the time. It was like a 2013 movie.
Oh my god, Netflix when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why is everyone so young? That's my horror movie.
I felt the same. I felt the exact
The
same.
Shrine is about. It's kind of like Midsummer.
From what you said, it sounds like we're around the same age.
Maybe so, yeah.
Good news.
It's kind of like
2002 was the year I exited high school. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes, into people's
The
faces.
Shrine?
It's terrifying. Yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah, so it's like these they find a cult, they like come across this like Nordic Scandinavian cult. And there's like on the top of this hill that's like encapsulated by fog, this mist, on top of the hill is this shrine. And if these travelers go to they walk up the hill and they see the shrine, and when they come back down, they're captured by this cult. And it turns out anybody who sees the shrine gets turned into a demon and gets possessed. So instead of like letting people get possessed, before they get possessed, they like strap them down and take these masks, these metal masks with spikes on the eyes and the mouth, and they take a big sledgehammer and they hammer it into the people's faces so that they don't get possessed. Real fucked up. Yeah, I did a double feature of that and Hostel.
That movie came out in
yeah.
2010.
2010? Yeah, that sounds all right.
Oh my gosh.
That reminded me of maybe my favorite scary movie to this day, and I can't remember what the episode was called. The Goosebumps movie, when they go to the Halloween Goosebumps where they couldn't get the masks off.
Ooh.
That's probably one I actually watched on purpose, not on accident. Like Candyman.
What about Hayden Christensen in The Living Dummy when his head spins around all the way at the end of the episode?
By the way, Dan and Mara, I just wanted to say, because I'm not sure anyone else has said this yet, how touching and nice it is that you decided to adopt a child in need.
No.
Well, as a child that had been adopted, I really believe in, paying it forward.
Yeah.
I always wanted to have a little token white male that I could love and that I could like schlep around everywhere and be like, my kid's an honor student at this junior high school.
I failed.
Our kid just writes for
This one has been stuck in a dungeon for years.
Yeah,
and you rescued him.
Our adopted child is asleep on the couch. You may know him. He writes for a movie trivia competition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that guy.
I tried to wake him up, but he was drinking
I
alone.
earned it. It was my gold star.
He has a bed. It has a memory foam mattress on it. He's living in the lap of luxury
Yes, he is.
here.
Robert can never sleep safely, from what I understand. You're always at risk of having the shit scared out of you.
That's true. Yeah.
Can we play that video?
I mean, I didn't know that was ever going to be for public consumption.
It doesn't
but
have
sure.
to be. No.
I'd like to
We'll keep it now.
For your sake, not for mine.
You're listening.
Last time I was here, they as in Mara.
They.
They.
I was taking a nap, and I asked her to wake me up. And I'm a very heavy sleeper, so I told her that she might have to like turn on the light or like shake me a little bit. And I was napping, and she came to wake me up and was like very gently, like a motherly, like knocking at the door, like, Robbie, it's time to wake up. And
I started knocking progressively louder.
right,
And
that
I was
the shit
like
wasn't
kind
gonna
of
wake me up.
sort of banging for a little bit. And then I just
Wasn't gonna wake
decided,
me up.
screw it. So I turned on my phone camera and I opened the door, which we purposely have never WD-40'd that door. So it sounds like a horror movie. It's like, and then I ran as fast as I could and I jumped on the bed and I went, it's time to wake up. And he just goes, oh.
I don't mind sharing just the audio. I really don't. I don't care.
It sounds like if you were to tickle Mickey Mouse. It's like, oh.
It's serious.
Oh, I think it sounds like putting a thumb in Mickey Mouse's butthole.
Can you hear this? Hold on.
I'm gonna rush in there and scare you.
Wait for it.
She's opening the door.
It's time to get up.
The immediate apology. Oh no.
I didn't do anything funny with it.
Oh, buddy. Oh, come here, buddy.
He's sensitive to loud noises.
It's okay. We were telling them earlier about how the four of us, me, PJ, Maxwell, and Rachel Silvestrini, we're all sitting in the living room and we watched the same clip from the penultimate episode of Ted Lasso, like
30 times?
30 times.
Just kept
And
rewinding
just kept laughing. Did you guys watch?
We haven't
think
watched
we're-
last week's one yet.
I think we're too
'cause
behind. She thinks
Robbie,
we're only one
I think we're only one behind because Robbie was here, so we didn't watch it yet.
Okay, it's
Don't spoil
I don't
anything.
know. I'm not trying to. He just screamed something really funny, and it's just really funny. I don't know.
You
how
had to be
explain it.
there.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, can I share an adult nightmare that I still have that my therapist finds fascinating?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
so I didn't know until I was like in my mid-teens or so, or maybe my late teens, that VeggieTales was like a Christian-related media.
You're not the only
And
one.
I never knew because I never watched it. I was way too old for it, but I babysat occasionally, and I was just like, sure, watch this shit with a tomato. I don't know. And I have this nightmare where I'm on the VeggieTales pirate ship, and they realized that I was Jewish and Muslim, and they put me on the plank, and Larry the tomato was like, get off of here, Jew, and just like shoves me off the plank. And my therapist finds this endlessly fascinating. Like, I told this to my therapist as a joke, like a long time ago, and they were just like, okay, we need to dissect this. And I was like, it's just a
Well-
nightmare. Like, it's not meaningful in any way other than, I guess, the overt messaging of it, but it's like, it's a tomato. I know a tomato is not out to get me. There's
That
no
being
Christian
said-
agenda with vegetables.
When you said get out of here, Jew, I felt that in my bones. So I get it. It was like my first week of college. I met someone who had never met a Jew before, and somehow it was revealed that I was Jewish, and they were like, "Hold on, you don't have horns."
Oh my God.
Oh,
Wait, was it Borat? Did you meet Borat?
Maybe I did.
Are you in the
Are
first?
you?
Oh, buddy.
Are you in the
Welcome
first
to my
Borat
house.
movie?
Entry,
No, that was a
please.
prank, right?
Come here, bud.
Sean knows about all those TikTok trends.
Yes, 100%. I spend way too much time on TikTok.
I know you do. My inbox tells me so.
Oh, by the way, unrelated. We forced Robbie to watch Tropic Thunder for the first time the other night.
He's never
Forced. I
seen it.
willingly
He'd never
volunteered.
seen it
He'd
before.
never seen it. How? Like, because that was in the era, you know, like the Borats and the
It was.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll see you when I go to bed in my head movie.
I think I've seen it.
What's your review 10 years later?
I mean, I think it's still really fucking funny. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I
I
think
feel like there's several reasons
it's-
it couldn't come out right now.
oh, 100%. But like you can so tell that it's intentionally satirical.
Yes,
and
100%.
that
And it's absurd comedy.
yeah, it's absurdist, and it just really makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like the Robert Downey Jr. performance is genuinely very, very good. And
He started calling my cat Little Half Squat today.
I did
Yeah.
a little bit briefly. I
Was-
don't know. I think it's very well directed and written.
Was RDJ? He was nominated for that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I did quote one of the Osiris lines today in the distillery.
Yeah, he did. This was before he'd had anything to drink, too.
It was. Well, even just the 400 years thing, we said that more than once today.
Yeah, we did.
I way back when, like 2 channels ago that I used to have, we tried doing a little bit of Schmodown inspired trivia, and one of the questions I was asked in one of my head-to-heads was Robert Downey Jr. starred alongside who in the fake trailer for Satan's Alley in Tropic Thunder. I was like,
Yeah,
It's a good one.
Tobey Maguire. Yeah.
So I hope that
I
question
haven't
makes
seen
its way in Schmodown at some point. It's fun.
Satan's Alley.
I remember seeing that in the theater. A bunch of Navy people all went because that was around the time that I was born in that part of the year. And it was at like the dine-in movie theater, but not the like I'm eating steak with a fork and knife like dinner theater, like the cheese fries and like huge mugs of beer dinner theater. And oh my god, we were already pretty tipsy by the time the movie was starting. So like when those trailers rolled, we were all just like, I think I want to go get some booty sweat from the lobby. Like we thought it was totally real because we were already kind of drunk.
Oh, you thought that they were like advertising an actual
I wanted to go get the booty sweat.
sweat.
Yeah. And a
Frickin'
bust a nut
asshole.
bar.
Get his ass juice. It's a cure-all.
Yeah.
Listen, one time or another, we've all ended up with a little booty sweat in our mouth.
Hashtag truth.
I thought you were going to stop halfway through that statement, and you went all the way. But I appreciate it, though.
Do you know Maxwell? Like, have you met him? Stop halfway? No.
60% of the time, he goes all the way every time.
True.
Brian, that doesn't even make sense.
It's a real panther, guys.
Sex Panther by Odeon.
Ooh.
I just appreciate everybody coming on the show today and enjoying. Hopefully, you didn't have too much better to do.
I'm off tomorrow. It's the bullshit holiday, so
Keith's like, I'm going to work. I can't watch this show any longer.
Can we tell you guys what we have been doing / might do the rest of the night until sunrise?
Okay, so we were Mara was taking a shower yesterday, so Robert and I were hanging
It was a
out.
special occasion. I was taking a shower.
So the first thing I showed him was an episode from season 1 of Sexy Beasts on Netflix.
Oh,
we
God.
love so much.
William
which is
Bibiani, I think, was saying something about that on Twitter today or yesterday.
Yeah.
crazy. But then I was going through the recommendations, and I realized that they have
Peggy.
Peggy, I miss you, Peggy.
Peggy, hello. There was a show that I watched when it was on in the early 2000s on ABC called
Like
The
a
Mole.
la 2001.
Oh yeah, the mole is so good.
With Anderson
Yes.
Cooper. The first 2 seasons of The Mole are on Netflix. So I was like, oh my God, they have The Mole. And Parker's like, what's The Mole? And then Mara came in right around that time. She's like, what's The Mole?
I mean,
like,
I'm only microscopically younger than Dan, but young enough that I'm like, what's the mole?
I really just turned it on because I was like, oh, Anderson Cooper's so young in this. Like, we should just watch the first 10 minutes. And so we started watching it, and they were like, this show's really good. So now we're just sitting here watching 20-year-old episodes of The Mole.
I don't remember
Although
this at all.
normally when someone comes to me and says, "Oh my God, they have the mole," I recommend they see a dermatologist.
100%. You got to
So
get
The
those checked
Mole-
out.
The Mole is on ABC, and the premise is there's 10 people, and they're working cooperatively to perform these tasks. And for every task they get right, there's money that's added to the pot of what they're going to win at the end of the show. But one of the 10 people is a mole, and they're working against the crew. And so,
Are you saying this is like roughly around 2000?
yeah,
Yeah.
like right around.
I remember
2000,
this show.
2001.
I
And
remember the
so
show.
what you have to do is you do all these tasks, and at the end of every 2 or 3 days, you take a quiz as to who you think the mole is, and the person who knows the least about the mole is, and they literally call executed. So like Anderson Cooper, like they're at dinner and he like taps his glass and he's
Time for
like,
the execution.
as you know, tonight we have our first execution. And so yeah, you have to figure out who
They did one or
He's got a killer leather jacket.
he does.
Worth saying.
It's very.
they did 1 or 2 seasons of Celebrity Mole, also from what I recall.
I think there was 2 seasons of the regular Mole and 2 seasons of Celebrity Mole, and that was it. But yeah,
All I can
I
think
think they
about
only
is
have the
like,
regular Mole.
chop it off and make guacamole.
Hey,
Nice.
Ooh, guacamole.
Yeah, we've been watching The Mole.
One year, Sir Pounce and Muffin's couple's costume was going to be, I was going to make Sir Pounce like this little felt like triangle. And then Muffin was going to have a little vest that had a little felt bowl with like a bunch of green looking stuff in it. And it was going to be chips and guacamealy.
I love it.
I like it.
I knew what you were
It's my arm.
I think I would be injured if I tried to put anything on either of my cats. One of them.
Clothes. She's a little diva.
We put a little harness on them to try to take them outside for walks, especially when they're younger, just to get them used to it. No, they literally just fall over, just on the side, arms straight out. They don't move until you take it off. Doesn't matter how long you keep them.
I have bat wings with bells for my cat at home. She wiggled out of them every single time I put her in them. And then the other day she decided she was going to play around on the floor with all the toys and wiggled her way into them and then couldn't get out. And I was like, keep it up.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this. Let's go.
Back with them now.
We got bat wings for Muffin this year and a little candy corn collar, like where he looks like a little sunflower, but it's made of candy corn for Sir Pounce.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is how submissive my cat is. If it'll show, we just put all the toys on him.
I love doing that.
That's great.
Oh, baby.
It actually worked on both.
What's wrong, buddy?
bud?
It's like he heard us talking about him. He's peeking around the corner like,
Come here, buddy.
I hear you guys. Love me.
Who's a good boy, huh? It's you. You are.
Hiding.
Hide Shatner. Hide him.
Does anyone have a? Because I feel like everyone's got their like Christmas holiday staples. What's everyone's Halloween staples?
We watch John Carpenter's Halloween every year on Halloween.
I'd also like to point out, I sadly do not have Christmas staples, but
Yeah.
I've learned to like his.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I saw of certain, let's see, what was like the movie rundown that you were doing last year. Yeah, you have some of my staples too. So I'm like, Christmas Vacation, yes.
Yep.
Well,
We alternate every year on Christmas Eve between Christmas Vacation and Elf.
Mhm.
Every other year.
I have a really large collection of Christmas movies, but I'm starting to build up my Halloween movies.
Nice.
I mean, I love the original Scream. Honestly, I love all the Nightmare on Elm Street, but like
Yeah.
New Nightmare's my ultimate favorite. I mean, literally, because it's the prototypical Scream. I'm a big fan of Friday the 13th Part 3. I mean, first one, of course, OG's fantastic. And Freddy vs. Jason. We love that movie.
versus Jason, actually. Excuse me.
I like how raw the first Texas Chainsaw is.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see that until maybe like 5 years ago. It was probably the first time I saw that, and I was like, "This movie is very like it doesn't rely on music. It's just kind of like in your face."
I always watch Trick or Treat around Halloween.
Oh, we
Love
watched
that movie.
last year.
I introduced
It's so
that to
good.
him.
Yeah.
There's such a good house at Halloween Horror Nights for it in 2018.
There was.
Yeah.
We went to that one. Yeah.
Really good.
That was, guess where that house was?
Where?
The Balloon Barn.
Oh, in the balloon barn.
By the way, I was just having a glass of water earlier today.
Oh, I recognize that cup.
I set it on the coaster and it lines up perfectly with the Hello Kitty Jaws coaster.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we sent the coasters.
Yeah, we did. We have no idea what we're doing. It's
No.
fine. We're good.
You're wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm baking up a storm tomorrow to send you guys stuff.
Ah,
Yay! So oddly enough, I'm flying back tomorrow, and then I have a wedding that I have to do, and then he and PJ are flying in this weekend, so we're doing Horror Nights.
Nice.
Jelly.
We thought about doing horror nights when we were there, but we just didn't have the time and didn't quite work out this time.
yeah.
And,
Not seen
but
it.
the good news is we can just send you all kinds of arbitrary BS.
2% of.
I mean, I love arbitrary BS. It's my favorite kind.
I
Same.
do love Dream Warriors.
Someone's address, I will send gifts.
To every year. It's a tradition now.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of showing Robert Dream Warriors for the first time.
He's never seen
Dream Warriors
any
is
sort of
good.
nightmare
Yeah,
movie.
really
So.
My I think my staple movie actually, am I whack for having liked Malignant? I thought it
No,
was
Malignant was
great.
so good.
No, a lot of people liked it.
There's nothing wrong with liking something.
No, I'm not
Don't
one
let
of
anyone
them, but
ever
a
tell
lot
you
of other
that's
people
wrong.
did.
Well, to be fair, I watched it on a watch along on Off the Rails with him and Chris Clark and Kristen Smith, and Chris screaming into his pillow made it all worth it.
I mean, that's if you have a great crowd to watch it with. That
Oh,
can
that
make all the
movie is so
difference, yeah.
effortlessly watchable for the fact that it's just bonkers, and it can be bonkers good or
Yeah.
bonkers bad, just
Yeah.
depending on how you take it. But it's super watchable.
But like that third act is just like
Bonkers.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
it's like horror meets John Wick. What are you doing? I'm like, what? Yeah. And then we watched Ready or Not, and I really liked that too. I was
I
like,
love that movie.
That's a really great movie.
was
I
like-
love it for a lot of different reasons.
The Samara Weaving one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of
that one's great.
Yeah, I love that.
What
And then-
what movie has a better explosive finale? Is it Ready or Not or Kingsman: The Secret Service?
I haven't seen.
Oh, I
Kingsman,
thought you were gonna go a different direction with that. Interesting.
I like Ready or Not.
Yeah.
Just because it's more the build up is so great to it.
And you're wondering whether or not it's real. You know,
Yeah.
like they leave just long enough where it's like, oh crap, is this all fake?
Yeah.
And then it happens.
Parker, is that a Slytherin tie?
Of course it is.
Sure is.
Again.
Slithered and proud, all three of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh my.
Ravenclaws.
Ravenclaw.
Nice.
With a twinge of that Slytherin in there.
Mm-hmm.
Sean's like, yes, Harry Potter.
Yes, Harry Potter. I'm probably the only Gryffindor then, I guess. I've never dived deep
Is it
into taking
Gryffindor
all
or
of the
Gryffindor?
Potter.
Oh.
I love that I
Go
asked
for it.
about Halloween movies, and the chat's like, yes, Christmas. I'm like,
Yes. started
Well, to be fair, I mean, Cheryl has a good point. Nightmare Before Christmas, because that is a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie.
Yes,
That movie's
you can watch it twice. I'm
I will
not a
say
huge
Ravenclaw.
horror fan, so I keep a lot of my Halloween movies
He has Slither Claw hair.
PG-13 maybe.
Blue.
My head.
Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas for me.
Purple green.
Hocus Pocus is my number one. I'm that basic. I can quote that movie start to finish.
Hocus Pocus is delightful.
It is incredible. I cannot wait for the actual, now confirmed. They've been saying that there's a sequel for years, since always We Got This Covered or Illuminati or some bullshit site. Now it's like actually happening, so I'm excited.
Mhm.
Sorry, that hit with me.
Dan, I go on Ragers on Facebook. Like, I shouldn't get as involved as I do,
Oh.
but I see like 400 shares on an article that is manure, and I'm like, guys, please.
What was
do
the one you just went off on? I saw it an
Oh, you
hour
saw it?
ago.
It was
Something.
John Bernthal confirmed.
Yes,
Return of the
that's what it
Punisher,
was.
And I just let loose in the comments. I'm so mad. Anyways,
I was
but if we do talk Christmas, it is Jingle All the Way and Rise of the Guardians, because Rise of the Guardians never gets
Rise of the Guardians is
respect.
so good. That movie
It's
rocks.
so good, and nobody talks about it.
I saw Jingle All the Way for the first time last year
Yeah,
at
we
Christmas.
watched it.
He's shown me a lot. Like I had never seen Home Alone. I'd seen Elf, but like one time when it came out. I'd seen Christmas Vacation a lot though. Like my family loves, like, I don't know if it's just that like my parents, maybe they liked Chevy Chase, but like despite all the Jewiness, they like love that movie. So I've seen it a bunch, but yeah. I think there's still, you showed me Home Alone 2 as well.
I showed you Home Alone and Home Alone 2,
Yep.
and Jingle All the Way last year.
So I've seen a lot of them now.
I think Elf is such a great Christmas movie, specifically because it's directed by a Jew. Like, I don't think anyone quite gets the Christmas spirit better than Jews.
Exactly.
Because we sit quietly alone yearning for the gifts and the magic. And so when it comes our time to make art about it, we're like, we're going to put all the Christmas in it. All of it.
Okay, you know what's a really
I like
underrated Christmas and Hanukkah movie? 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
she
it's
loved
literally
that
the
movie.
only Hanukkah movie ever.
I
The
love
night
that
before
movie.
has like a little crossover.
Yeah, the night before has a little Hanukkah in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I like that. I remember seeing
That's probably one of my favorite ones too.
I like that one.
just saw it last year and I was like, oh, I love this. This is great.
Michael Shannon's great in
They
that.
I was
movie.
gonna say, great
Um,
Michael Shannon role.
Yeah.
there's 2 good Shiva movies and 1 Hanukkah movie. What is that? That doesn't make any
There's
sense.
also a great Purim movie for your
I
consideration.
know.
True.
What?
Shiva Baby might as well be a horror movie. That movie is terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching it and having flashbacks to every Shiva or bris or Jewish gathering I've ever been to, and I'm like, oh God, no.
I don't think anything has ever made me want to commit self-harm more than going to a Shiva.
Irony.
Yeah.
It's miserable because you have to sit in those teeny tiny little chairs. It was the one thing the movie was missing, was pointing out the tiny, uncomfortable, very low chairs. It's bad enough somebody that you love dies. You have to sit there for 7 days and just like revel in it.
Well, it's even worse when it's someone you don't love that dies and you still got to pretend.
Yeah.
7 days of this? I can act, but I'm not that good.
Wow. Sorry, we took that in a dark direction. Circling
love
back.
dark direction. Good.
While you were doing that, I had to look up exactly what we were talking about just to make sure. I got on board though. I figured it out.
I just kind of went with the whole I'll figure this out eventually.
Yes. Yes.
Well, actually, Shiva Baby was great for Dan because he's not spent any time with my Jewish family. So it was like, this is what it's like. Just that's it right there.
Yeah.
Quite an education.
Mm-hmm.
It very much captures the American Jewish diaspora, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I am very interested if anyone has a go-to, like, what's the best horror franchise? Or, yeah, that's the question. Scream? That's a good one.
I think Nightmare on Elm Street's the most interesting. Even the bad movies are at least interesting.
The practical effects are great.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm going to throw Chucky in as a dark horse.
Ooh. I like
I
that.
love Child's Play stuff.
I think I saw the third Child's Play first when they were at like army school or something. And then I had gone back and watched and then the Bride and all the Resurrection, all those ones.
I'll also speak out for Final Destination. I
Oh,
quite
yeah.
enjoy Final Destination.
Yeah.
Most of those are pretty good. The second
That's what I
one
was gonna say. They are more good than bad.
has some amazing deaths in it.
The second one's my favorite one.
I think so. And that director died a couple years ago. He's so young.
And the second one was with the log truck, right?
Yeah.
No one ever forgets that. You're
No,
on the
but
highway
that-
and you see a truck hauling. Like, nope.
Or
Frankly,
the-
when I think of
the,
Final Destination, that's what I think of. I'm like, I'm gonna die.
The
Okay.
fire escape ladder, like just going down into the
Yes.
guy's face. Oh,
Sean William Scott getting torn in half by, what is it, a fence?
He's standing by a train and it kicks up a piece of metal that decapitates him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stiff.
I mean, I'm all for Sean William Scott getting killed in horror movies, but decapitation by train piece of metal.
I now spend a lot of time when I'm like waiting in a subway station or walking down the street thinking what series of events could occur to create some elaborate Rube Goldberg-esque death machine specifically for me.
Yeah.
I spent hours talking to my therapist about this.
And here I am just walking down the subway hoping I don't fall into the track
Well,
because
that would
I
be the
trip
easiest
easily.
way to die, yeah.
Mhm.
He's like, Rube Goldberg machine. And I'm like, just don't trip, dumbass.
Good morning, Maddie. In the future, Maddie, what's the future like? We got Freddy here, the Chucky TV show. There's a TV show out, right?
Well, it's
Sinister. Sinister. Is that a good one? I haven't seen the Sinister or the
Sinister
Conjuring.
is really good.
Scott Derrickson. I heard the first one's good. The second one is poo-poo.
The first one is very scary.
Ooh, Drag Me to Hell. I saw that
Drag Me to
one.
Hell is good. Drag Me to Hell and Malignant are interesting counterpoints in terms of where they landed in their respective filmmakers' career. Sort of like a one for me return to horror in between big budget franchise movies.
Maxwell, I want to let you finish, but first.
Okay, Kanye.
Was Drag Me to Hell Raimi?
Yeah.
Just a reminder to give the money.
Yes, there is a Streamlabs.
Give him your money.
As a Jew, one of my favorite things is to ask people for their money. So on behalf of the host here, send them your shekels.
Maxwell likes to throw people off by also being like one of the most generous people I've ever met because
Right.
Incredibly generous.
that whole stigma right out the window.
It's true.
It is very true.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie, why so dour? Future is cold.
I mean, one of the reasons why I don't think I had a lot of nightmares as a child was because I kind of really embraced nihilism in the single digits, and I realized that death is
We're going to
inevitable
hell.
and life is meaningless.
Oh.
So, like, scary movies weren't really very scary anymore.
Oh. See, I had nightmares about tornadoes and a T-Rex.
I did have a lot of nightmares about, like, failing at things because, like, it was so culturally unacceptable. And so I had a lot of dreams about disappointing my parents.
Dan, you'll be very disappointed in me. I tried to show my kids Jurassic Park for the first time a couple months ago. They only made it 15 minutes in.
Oh.
Pretty much as the helicopters landing on the island.
Remind me
I
the
think-
age of your kids.
7 and 9. And I think it was the first scene with Joffrey getting killed by the raptor. And when they're putting him in the cage, because immediately they're like, oh no, this is a horror movie. And so I forced them to sit there for a little while longer, but they were out. They were mentally gone, and they just couldn't make it through the rest of the movie.
Fair enough.
So they were done by about 15-20 minutes in.
Well,
you know what? If at first you don't succeed, force feed it to them again.
Well, I watched Raiders last night, and I forced my son to sit and watch it with me. And surprisingly, surprisingly, the spiders didn't get to him, the snakes, a lot of skeletons. But I covered his eyes at the end. I was like, you don't need to see faces melting. We'll rewatch it again.
That's a bit intense. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, all right, you just turn away for this one.
If I wanted my face to melt,
when I was younger.
if I wanted my face to melt, I would just watch the live action Avatar movie.
Uh,
I just thought of there was only one movie that gave me nightmares from the box art. I remember going into my sister's room and just seeing, like, looking at the back of the DVD and having nightmares that night. That was this one.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm dressed up as right now is Frank.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Actually, Dan searched the whole Comic-Con floor to get me this exact set of Louise Belcher ears, because all the other ones that I had ever found didn't have the wires to actually keep the ears in position.
Yeah.
So he was my hero, and he got me a hat.
We were on the search for the perfect Louise ears because the rest are all cheap.
Yeah, those are really cute.
They're cute.
Thank you. She's my spirit animal. That tracks. I was like, look, we kind of match, except mine's just hair.
This is my AAA Lucifer Morningstar mask.
I love it.
I like it.
I think you should just be that every day. Don't let it be a costume. Let it be an identity.
It's just you.
You can pull it off.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
you're already married. I mean, unless she annuls the thing, she's stuck. So you might as well go wild now.
Before you guys got here, we were sitting backstage before we hit play on the show. And I was doing whatever. I hear, oh, what happened? I look over at the screen, and she's standing behind him going, what's happening? What are you wearing? She goes, I heard a noise. I came to investigate. What's going on? He's all, it's my 7-Eleven mask.
It's okay. Earlier today, she posted something about snoring, and I was like, just smother him. It's fine. And then Facebook blocked the comment. I was like, no, what? This is funny.
Oh, that's
we were
When Dan snores, I just talking about Lauren smothering Jesse's
face until he stops.
True.
Oh, I will share, because she's, I think, asleep at this point. I'll share what she cannot. For any of you that are not friends with her on Facebook, she did share that last night I was snoring, and so she tried to gently wake me up. Wake up. And I just put my hand at her face, and I said, I'm about to start a dream. So when I rolled back over and continued snoring.
I heard that. I was like, what?
That's hilarious.
That sounds like a Jesse thing. And then I was like, just smother him.
She was getting all the support in the comments. Everyone's saying to violently shake me or smother me or stop my breathing.
I would sometimes pinch Dan's nose, but only because he would immediately stop snoring and then just go back to sleep.
I don't snore that much.
You really don't, but when you do, I find it just endlessly annoying.
Yeah.
It's any repetitive noise though. There were people doing work because there's construction on our street, and repetitive banging noises at specific intervals. Yeah. I don't know what it is about it. I can't fail to concentrate on just that one exact thing, and then I can't go to sleep.
Yeah, I have that problem too. I have to have a fan in the room or wherever I am. And no joke, snoring drives me nuts. My sister almost actually got smothered numerous times when we were younger. She probably deserved it. It's fine.
More than likely.
We're a big fan of white noise apps.
Yeah, we
Big
like
fan.
the white noise.
Oh, it's not even color.
Same. I have.
What?
It's not even color.
Oh my god.
Do you guys have I don't know if you call it nightmare. I guess it's a nightmare where you're back in either high school or college and you don't remember where your classes are. You're like, oh, I have to go to class, but you don't know where anything is. And it's
that I always wake up feeling so weird after that. You don't know what year it is anymore. Your complete psychosis is flipped on its end when you have that dream.
Mine is more I have a big exam or a project due and I haven't studied or done it yet.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and I'm like, oh wait, I'm a fucking adult. I don't have class.
Do you remember my ridiculous nightmare like that?
No.
Okay, so I dreamt that I was in Hamilton on stage as Alexander Hamilton, and I forgot the whole show.
I
Wow.
had a dream once where I was competing on Project Runway, except I don't know how to sew. Not at all. Nor can I design fashion. So
to make it work, people.
At all.
That you know of.
I designed this hoodie.
Look
Who's
at
the
this
host
guy.
gun? He's like, he's gonna find out when you get kicked off the show.
I get heralded as an avant-garde genius because of my post-it note dress.
You wear a post-it note dress, and I'm over here gender bent like Alexander Hamilton. We have a lot of issues. It's fine.
Robert, I feel like we missed an opportunity to dress up as Wickersham monkeys. I feel like that's what we should.
I don't know that I have the costume to do that.
My costume was yoga pants and a striped mime shirt and a beret, so I could probably dig that up somewhere.
I like the beret. That's a nice touch. We didn't have that. When I did it, we had, or when I did it for, I did it that show twice. One show was like for a community theater, one was for high school. In high school, they wouldn't let us do it, but for the community show, we had like these vests, these like, green and gray vests, and we didn't have shirts on underneath, so it was just the vests. But in high school, they wouldn't let us do that because we were underage.
We did Grease, and for the elementary school kids,
Sandy.
For the elementary school audiences, we had to change it from that Rizzo might be pregnant to, and this was last minute, to that Kaneki broke up with Rizzo. Like, hey, did you hear Kaneki and Rizzo broke up? And then at the end, she comes on stage. She's like, we're back together. And then everyone sings a song about it. But then one time on stage, somebody said, did you hear that Kaneki might be pregnant?
Kaneki, that's a problem.
And all of a sudden, this production of Grease became a sequel to Junior.
Yeah, no, that would have been a very interesting plot twist.
Do you think they die at the end, or do you think they just like go away to live their lives and there's flying car?
I think it's a
Grease.
Yeah.
I
was watching a movie recently, and the characters were having that argument. I need to look through it.
I think that they are incredibly ill-suited for one another, and that relationship like fizzled after 10 more days.
10 days. Wow.
My only problem was we couldn't talk about condoms.
Yeah.
We talked about sex, but no condoms.
Yeah.
That's the exact wrong thing to do.
Right.
If you're going to talk about one, you gotta talk about the other.
Yeah, you should be advocating for that.
Like, let's talk about the condoms and maybe not the sex.
Yeah, if you're going to do one, you got to do that one.
Anyways, it is 3 a.m. here, so we do have to make our departure.
However,
but thank you so much for having us.
You guys are in New York City.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for hopping on.
And then we'll be up soon.
It's so good to see you guys.
Yes,
you too.
Hey guys.
Bye.
We'll hang out soon.
Yes.
Everybody.
I have to come down and watch
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Spirit fingers.
I was going to say, while we're talking about plays and things of that nature, that I caused my drama teacher, well, not me specifically, but our production group caused our drama teacher to have a mental breakdown because we had our final performance of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the musical, and our Oslon decided he wanted to interject Great Scott in front of like every line of his. So Great Scott.
That is so funny.
And then we all, without any communication, nobody talked to each other. Everybody started doing it throughout the play. It was our final production. Like I had 2 lines because I was the owl, and I still was like, "Great Scott!" And when it came to intermission, she started dropping F-bombs at us, and I was in junior high, and this drama teacher lost her shit. And I thought it was one of my favorite memories.
I do every once in a while. I do like the whole last show fuckery. Yeah. I played Artful Dodger one year in Oliver, and there was one scene in Act 2 where we're like in Fagin's like thievery hut. I don't know what you want to call it.
Thievery hut.
Thievery hut. No, that's what they call it in the show. It's thievery hut.
It is not late. You are on Mara time. This is not late.
I need another Mountain Dew. We're in the headquarters of the thieves.
The Den of Thieves.
The Den of Thieves, yeah, if you will. Nice.
50 Cent.
And there was this big like cast iron pan with like these little tiny like you know, the mini sausages. Just like, because like during the scenes, like some of the thieves would like go and like, you know, have a little snack. And during the last show, I had this incredible, I wish I still had this suit jacket. It was this suit coat that was like blood red with like the tails on the back and everything. It was beautiful, like pockets everywhere. It was wonderful. And I opened up the side pocket and picked up this cast iron thing and dumped the sausages into my pocket in like the middle of the scene and put the thing back down and then walked off stage and just like threw them to everybody. I gotta find a picture of that jacket. And then I want you to guess how old I am in this picture.
Oh, you gotta see this.
That's a great one. Thank you for that.
We used to. I was a techie, and so I ran the sound crew, and they'd mic up everybody, but then everybody would forget they were mic'd up. So we just sit at the soundboard with our headphones on and just listen and hear what was really going on backstage. It was fun.
All right.
Robert gave me like unintentionally the most difficult time creating a thumbnail because I was trying to find a picture to use, and Robert has like 2 recent pictures and then like a bunch of him 15.
Yeah,
You can show them that
I
picture.
can show them that
You have
picture.
to.
Turn it sideways so it's bigger.
That's what she said.
I gotta change the brightness on my phone. Hold on. You see that? I don't think you can.
There we go. So
That's
great.
You are 4 years old.
Yep.
I am in 8th grade in that picture.
Wow.
I am. How old am I?
Maybe
I guess
14.
No, I was 12 or 13. Somewhere in there. I was going into 8th
That
grade.
would make you in 7th grade.
That's not how maths work.
Oh, that's right. You have a late birthday though.
I do.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was going into 8th grade.
He's
so I
a
was
June or July
13,
baby. I don't know why I said
think.
June.
Did you have the
July.
chance to be the oldest kid in class, the youngest kid in class?
I didn't make that choice. My parents made it for me.
Your
as
parents
many
decided
things.
to make you the youngest kid in class instead of the
Yeah.
oldest. That's
Yeah, same. My birthday's
Oh,
August
I
2nd. I was always on the
actually-
cutoff.
I had, when I moved to the school, because I was in one school and for most of middle, like elementary through most of middle, then I moved to a different school for high school. And when I was in high school, I still had like, there were like 4 people younger than me.
It's way better to be the younger
Always
person.
just absolutely, yeah.
I love
100%.
being the younger kid.
Me too. But except for like when I got to college, then it became
It's not
different.
as much fun.
Then I did not like
Yeah.
being the young kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way. My birthday's August 2nd, so I was like
Right.
on the line of the cutoff because when we were younger, school didn't start till like the end of August. Now my kids go to school the first week of August, which is
Yeah, we'd always go
It's
on
very
like
weird.
August 25th. Around then would be when we'd start school.
Yeah,
and I remember after our like senior party, whatever it was, after graduation, like a bunch of people were 18. They're like, we had an 18 and older casino nearby. So they're like, hey, we're gonna go gamble. I'm like, cool, have fun. Guess I'm going home for the night.
I bisected the school year. I'm in January, so like half the school year or a little less, I'd be in, one age, and then come back from Christmas break, and I was older.
Mhm.
I'm glad that I wasn't going to school and it was like 90 degrees out. I guess you guys have a lot more months of that, but like we have
13 of that.
a month of that, and that's like August.
PE sucked, but I mean, I'm in Northern California. We have air conditioning versus, probably you guys up in the Pacific Northwest probably don't have AC units a lot because you're not used to the heat.
Oh.
Yeah.
We had wine
We have
dance in our
heaters.
PE classes.
We have heaters. It's September. Turn the heater on.
Or if it gets hot, we just crack a door.
It's October the 10th. It was 85 degrees today.
We are not a violent people.
Yeah, we're in
I
the
don't know about
80s
you
still.
people.
We're getting down into fall temperatures next week.
You
Mm.
people?
What do you mean, you people?
They're having a side conversation.
Sorry. We're you peopling each other because we're at that part of the night.
It's currently 39 degrees, and it was hailing earlier.
Oh my god.
Hailing.
It probably rained a lot.
I
while
will
was
admit it, I
gone.
really, really, really miss the LA climate. Granted, my hands don't miss cracking and bleeding on a daily basis because my body, no matter how much water I drank, could not hydrate my skin and my cuticles properly.
Love a good bloody
But
hand.
oh my god, I love the idea that the weather's just beautiful there all the time. And then everything's on fire, but then everything's great again.
Once it's not on fire.
I warned her before we moved here. And she knows.
I lived in Mississippi for 5
Mm-hmm.
years. Trust me, I know what deep South weather is like. Blah.
New question just popped in my mind. Favorite Halloween costumes of memory?
Oh,
Sean, you got one?
Oh, I have two.
I need to go get the photo.
I haven't done a ton of Halloween costumes. I got to the age, at least from my memory, I probably did before then, where I was like, I'm too cool for costumes. I'm just gonna be
one of those.
I'm just gonna be a rollerblader every year because I
One
was
of
a
those,
rollerblader as a
yeah.
kid. But I did wear costumes as a kid. My mom made me a Batman costume and like sewed it all together. Had like cardboard as the ears, and they were like the short ears too. I remember that. That was probably my favorite from like 6 years old, maybe something like that. 5 years old. And yes, I was one of those. Yes.
When I was young, I didn't grow. Which means
Really?
yeah, true story. Which means I could wear the same costume for 6 years in a row, which is what I did. Maybe even more than that. And it was this wolf costume. I had this like hat, I had like a wolf head on it, and this like full like pants, a shirt, everything that was like furry.
You're just auditioning for Into the Woods.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And then once I got to college, all 4 years of college, I wore like a Peter Parker costume because I had this Under Armour that was Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So I would wear this like
That sounds awesome.
I still have it. I have a dope picture of that actually. I had this like just like this gray button-up, shirt, like a collared shirt, and then underneath was the Spider-Man.
Nice.
And yeah, that's it. And then this year I'm going as me tomorrow morning, so I'm just gonna dress like I'm hungover. That's gonna be my costume this year.
Perfect.
I can't remember what it was. I thought it was probably in about December of last year. I came up with the perfect Halloween costume idea for Dan and I forgot what it was. I never remembered. So until I remember, which I don't care if I remember in February, that's when I'm going to do it.
That's what we're going with.
Hold on. I've got a picture, though, of one of my really great costumes.
I had a very similar costume when I was 6. My mom had a local person here make for me a cowl and a cape.
Awesome.
The year Batman came out, and then I had the Batman pajamas. So I wore the Batman pajamas as my, clothes, and then this cape and cowl that she had made. And then years later, the next year I was Dick Tracy, and
Really?
then I was
Wow.
and then I was Penguin. When Batman Returns came out, I was the Penguin.
Oh no! I need
Really?
pictures of
You're a
that.
Danny DeVito penguin, or
Yeah, Danny DeVito.
This is a photo of me winning an amazing costume contest when I was little. My mom handmade me that costume.
That is so wild.
I love that.
I was a butterfly, if people couldn't figure that out. But the thing
I
is,
love the Power Ranger behind you.
the wings, like she made, it's like a fabric on the wings, and so I actually could like get caught by air. And like, granted, Chicago is named the Windy City for non-meteorological reasons. However, the lake effect does make really, really strong wind, and so I kind of got like carried away a little bit, and I almost got swept into traffic.
Maddie, pictures or it didn't happen. I don't know if I preferred my Napoleon Dynamite costume or my
No
Frodo
way,
Baggins.
really?
Yeah. I got a vote for Pedro, and I had like the curly wig, and we got like moon boots, and we like sprayed them black. It was pretty good. I couldn't find any tots to shove in my pocket, but I still had fun with the costume.
do you have is it a llama? Yes.
Well, I had.
God, Tina.
I also
lard.
had a Napoleon Dynamite like Liger shirt. It's like.
So 2 questions on this. One, is this you in the Peter Parker costume?
Yeah, I'm on
And
the
2, and no, that's my son on the right. I was going to say this is from 3 years ago, and he still wears it to this day. And I think he's going to be Miles again for Halloween this year, just because he loves it. It's his favorite hero.
Cool. That's really cool.
But that was 3 years ago at Disneyland, and he will not. He wears that thing to bed. It's his jammies. It's everything, and he will 100% still be that again this year.
I had Spider-Man jammies too. That was
I had to cut the feet off the bottom though, because it was starting to stretch. So it's just him stretching out the material. I'm like, all right, you can wear some.
Fully and completely wear clothes from junior high school, and I have to buy almost everything in the kids department. Robbie knows what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure the only thing I still wear from like junior high school is my boxers, but just kidding. That's joke.
I feel like you can update. You're married now. You have to do adult things at a certain point.
Everyone's looking for the in broadcast button.
Oh gosh. Hold on, wait, I have some pictures here of you. Do you think maybe it's in these?
Here's one we didn't talk about yet that I was thinking of. I was talking to Sean a little bit. Does anyone have any video game experience of something that just scared the shit out of you, video game wise? Yeah. I might have a surprising one. My first memory of being terrified is actually The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and it's being in the
say it. Say Ocarina, not
Ocarina. Hey, Ocarina.
Ocarina, yes.
Ocarina. All right.
We got all the UK people popping in. Everyone's waking up for the day.
Oh, what's up, guys? The benefits of doing a late show over on this side.
Maddie, please tell us you have pictures, please.
But guys, it is the Redeads when you're an adult and you're in like the marketplace and there's Redeads everywhere. Yeah. And there's just like this like high pitched like screaming, and then they jump on you and like suck on your head. It's like terrifying.
I remember being freaked out in Majora's Mask about
scary.
Like
the moon's terrifying.
Yeah, the moon is freaky, and like the dude who talks to you at the start about how you're dead, that guy's really scary too. I'm trying to think of other video game ones. I don't know.
Metroid Dread just came out like 2 days ago. I still want to get that. Maybe after the season ends, I can start playing video games again.
The first one they came out with for the GameCube, like, was it Metroid Prime? And you're like battling space pirates, and it was like gory too. And like that game had some scary elements. Like there'd be like a half dead like space pirate alien thing like crawling on the ground, like bleeding out.
The waiter from Tomb Raider 3. I don't remember.
I guess that some things in like Doom were kind of a little jump scary.
Yeah.
Doom or Resident Evil.
Especially half zombie.
I played a lot of Left 4 Dead, and like I played Left 4 Dead, the first one, like way too young. So like when I remember after I played it a shit ton of times, it didn't matter anymore.
Here we go.
When I first played Left 4 Dead, it was.
This is gorgeous. This is Dan.
I finally
it's so
found
perfect.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh, with the balloon
my Joker pumpkin.
It's a pumpkin.
I love it.
Oh my goodness,
I love
that's incredible.
It's the Batman outfit.
Nice.
So cool. Do you have your Data outfit anywhere in there?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He won his Data, but he kind of looked a little wrong. Do you want to describe what you looked like?
I'm white. I can put on white face.
It just looked weird and kind of not okay.
Not
like from a sensitivity standpoint. It just looked kind of like you were more of a serial killer than an Amazing Star Trek character.
I might have Data somewhere on here. Let's see.
AJ doing a little throwback to last weekend.
I don't understand what that means.
We didn't understand as it was happening.
We had zero idea.
It went off the rails last weekend.
Yes.
Oh God! So did the bracket show. Trust me.
We invited Jeff on, and he was he came on from Orlando with Mike, Bethany, Jake was in the background, AJ was there, and AJ decided to grace us with a trash can, and there's a sock in the trash can. We're like, okay, cool.
That was it.
That was the end. I still don't know what happened.
I love it. That's one of life's most beautiful mysteries.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll find out.
Yeah, it's who killed Hopper.
No. It's just like the Tootsie Roll Pop thing. The world may never know.
Mm-hmm.
I question for Robert, because you brought up Left 4 Dead. Have you heard of Back 4 Blood, and are you planning on getting it?
I've not heard of that. Is that like a...
So Back 4 Blood, it's a spiritual sequel to Left 4 Dead. It's like a division of the people that worked on Left 4 Dead, and it's got like a 4 in the title, just like Left 4 Dead.
Sure.
Like Back 4 Blood, and all the gameplay mechanics are the same. The premise is the same. Like how you go to like, you start in a little bunker and you get from like point A to point B, and you get into another bunker. That's how the levels go.
Right.
So it's like the same, just updated. So if you wanted Left 4 Dead 3, that's what it is.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to look into it. If the specials are similar, I'd be interested. But also, like, I still get I'm one of those weird guys who, like, whether even with, like, movies and video games and TV, like, whatever, like, I can find just as much enjoyment replaying, rewatching stuff as discovering new stuff. Like, I've played Batman Arkham Knight dozens of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's aesthetically so much fun.
Huh?
Yeah. I said it's just aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Like
Jesse,
I can play Left 4 Dead 2 tomorrow and like have just as much fun as when I was playing it 10 years ago. Like
I just re-downloaded it on the Xbox because they had it on the marketplace for like $10. What's up, Sean?
what game were you playing the other day on Twitch? The
Dying Light. Probably.
Dying Light, yeah. Your Dying Light 2 is coming out apparently soon.
Well, like 122 days. So yeah.
6 months
Or
away.
120
4 months
days.
away.
In the grand scheme of everything that the world's been going through for over 18 months, 122 days is nothing.
Yeah, right.
Well, this game was supposed to come out like 2 years ago. Anyways, like it got delayed, and then it got delayed into the pandemic, and then the pandemic delayed it further, and it's just like that's what you
The
don't want.
fractured butthole game, because that thing was just an ordeal to try to actually get, because we pre-ordered it and we show up the day it's supposed to be there, and it's like they explain that it's not going to be there and it may never be there and that they can't do anything about it or refund us our money. and they got it, and then Dan played it and
with no notification that it wasn't going to be there prior to you showing up.
Exactly.
This is very bad quality, but that's me as Data.
Oh.
Like,
You look like a pumpkin.
Well, I have a little bit of a weight problem. I'm not gonna lie.
But you stopped at the chin.
That's what I mean. That looks so weird.
Well, I didn't do it.
It looks
My
like you're
mom
wearing
did.
someone else's face.
Sorry, the most prominent thing was the orange. I didn't mean to offend. Dan's like, I'm never coming back on this shit channel ever again.
No. I promise we have one last show and tell moment.
Yeah.
So Dan and I love Halloween
for
Horror Nights. And in 2016, we went to Horror Nights in Universal Hollywood, had a great time. Of course, we did the backlot tour in the maze back there and did our picture by the Psycho House. Well, funny thing, like 2 years later, I'm playing in the Showdown. I play Mike the Killer Kalinowski. And then like 3 months into everything, we realize that he was the guy playing Norman Bates 2 years ago, and we had our picture taken with him in front of the Psycho House before we ever knew him.
That's so cool.
And it was fun because we went to go eat at the Jurassic Park Cafe before it was turned into the Jurassic World Cafe. And he got a tweet from Norman Bates, which was Mike, but we just didn't know him, saying that it was cool to see Dan because he knew what Screen Junkies was. Yeah. And we were like, Norman Bates knows who you are, Dan. And we were so excited about it.
Wow.
And then we ended up knowing him, like, and going to Wine Weekend with him, you know.
Have you guys gone and checked out Waterworld yet?
Oh, Waterworld's sick.
Did they change it?
Well, I mean, Mike
is part of it now.
Oh, no.
That's where he's now? I didn't
not that
know.
Mike is part of it, no.
Oh, wow.
We love the Waterworld show, though.
Yeah, that thing's sick.
I've seen it twice being down there. It's fun. I like it.
Just a reminder for those at home, I live in Washington and nothing cool happens up here. So.
And you can all help out by donating to Flick and Reel to get Jesse to Spectacular Fund.
That's true. Yeah,
let's get him a plane ticket to get down.
I think I've had enough people tell me that they can get me in if I can get down here. I was like, well, I have nothing spare right now, but you know, if we can make that happen, I would happily put something aside and make it down there.
Yes, you need to be here.
Unless go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish.
I was just going to say, also, I just found out that Dimitri Martin, one of my favorite comedians, is going to be coming up to Seattle in November, and tickets are only like $35. So if anyone wants to come up to Washington and watch Dimitri Martin with me, so far I'm going by myself.
By yourself?
I might just take the train down to California. It's like $100 in 32 hours.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
I'm pretty sure you can get a round trip flight for $100. It's much quicker.
Yeah, it's quicker, but struggling to see that. Anyways, that's my nightmare.
It's worth your time. I'd like to go down to Hollywood for Halloween Horror Nights and go through some of the stuff, but I haven't been able to make it down in time. We always have to do it as we got to plan family vacations now. So I don't know if the kids would have as much fun as I think they might.
We do have one cool thing up here in Seattle area. We have the MoPop, the Museum of Pop Culture, and they have a all-year annual horror exhibit. So you can see like stuff from the Walking Dead set, and like they have Jason and a lot of cool horror stuff. They also have the fantasy thing that has like stuff from Narnia, stuff from Monty Python Holy Grail, and then they'll always have something rotating all the time. They had a Marvel exhibit for a while that was super cool. Unfortunately, they had a Minecraft exhibit for a while, and that's why I stopped going.
Dan took me to this really neat like horror museum experience pop-up thing that was in LA like 3 years ago or something. It was funny because I think it was actually like a birthday gift, but we had to wait 6 months for him to actually give it to me. Just because of when everything falls. But it was so cool. Like they had all these different, like some things were art pieces, like installation, stuff like that. It was so neat. What was it? Do you remember what it was exactly?
What was it called? I love scary movies, or
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like I love or we love.
And they had like
movies.
the Beetlejuice stuff. They had.
Wait, what was his name?
It was like an art exhibit. It was like
it was like
art,
a pop up.
No, the movie you just said.
Beetlejuice.
What was it?
Beetlejuice. Oh, I get it. Well, okay. He's been,
at first I was going to shame Robert so bad.
For a long time. Technically, we started drinking like 12 hours ago. Technically, because we went to a distillery today, which is how you get around it being a dry thing, Sundays. But yeah, so I assumed honestly that he was just not paying attention to me.
No, I was just fucking with you.
I won't go into super. This is kind of like right turn for a quick second. Everybody really should watch Midnight Mass, especially if you're a Mike Flanagan fan, or if you enjoyed Haunted Hill House, or or Bly Manor, or Dr. Sleep. Any of the stuff he's done.
Oh my god, I love Dr. Sleep. So
I did too. Dr. Sleep was really cool. It took me a while before I was able to see it, but I really liked it. It's great. Avoid hearing anything about it if you can. Don't look at reviews. Because I think one of the most fun things about it is the trailers don't show you anything. So if you only know what you see in the trailer, you have a good time. Just don't listen to anybody. It's only 7 episodes, and they're each about an hour and 6 minutes. I binged it in 2 days. Or we binged it. It was really good and creepy.
I feel so bad because we got so far behind on our TV that we haven't seen Hill House or Bly Manor yet, despite the fact that I was so incredibly excited for both. It's just that like with movie stuff for him at work, and then for Schmodown, I have to watch, The Shadow 7 times a year. So that was specifically for Mike, by the way.
I hadn't watched any TV like for months until we got married, and I got basically booted from the Schmodown via loss. So by someone in that camp over there. So now finally, like I didn't start Ted Lasso until like episode 3 of season 2 was already out. So we just did a quick binge through all of it. Yeah,
that's like exactly when we started too.
It's so good.
Yeah, like everyone, Ben Bateman was like, I've watched season 1 like 3 times. It's like so good. It's pure joy. It's so great. And I was like, okay, so anytime someone tells me a show is going to make me feel good, I know that I'm not going to like it because I don't like feeling good. And I love the show. Like it genuinely makes you feel so happy and positive, but it doesn't feel like saccharine or disingenuous at all. I love that show.
And they give so much like credence to the not so happy parts too, that they're
especially in season
tackling
2, really
especially season 2 they're tackling stuff like the PTSD and the panic attacks and this and that and everything else. So I feel like they're touching on it well. They're not like denigrating it in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Plus I love that I know some people were kind of saying they weren't liking the pivot in season 2, but I like that they're developing the characters a lot this season.
Yeah, we still have to catch up in the finale.
We should just scare Maddie with this.
The finale's still.
Oh, we did? Yeah. Oh, then you're right. We're 2 behind.
I knew it.
The cat has usurped Parker's seat. This is now a cat.
Parker is a cat.
I think
he can go the other way.
Usually my cats are in here, but I think they're probably sleeping on my side of the bed now, waiting for me.
All right, there we go. He's back.
You can kneel down for the remainder.
I loved Hill House, and it's worth watching twice because the second time it's even better. Bly Manor couldn't hold me for whatever reason. I got like halfway through it, and then I just kind of fell off. But Midnight Mass was again another great one.
Are any of those connected to each other, or are they just they separate anthologies?
I don't know if I can hop in.
Well, they have like the same, like some of the same actors in every show, but as far as I know, there's nothing that's like concretely tying them together. Unless somebody can correct me, but I don't.
Are they doing their own version of like American Horror Story? How it's just anthology? They keep having the same actors play the.
Yes and no, because I think Hill
Netflix version.
House and Bly Manor, I believe, are based from novels originally, but Midnight Mass is completely original from Mike Flanagan.
Ooh.
Okay.
I love Dr. Sleep. I'm one of those.
We made him watch it in LA in May. No,
Yeah.
July.
No, June.
June. Months are hard.
It was good.
I was a big fan.
Really good.
But hey, it was.
Surprised Jacob Tremblay.
What's
That's
oh
true.
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
really
that
need
was
to murder
rough.
a kid in a gruesome fashion, you got to get Jacob Tremblay.
too bad the Predator
Oh,
didn't have
yeah,
the balls to do the same.
When you need a kid to murder somebody else in a cruel fashion, like in The Predator.
Yeah.
Why was
Did
that
he-
the best
did he-
Rebecca Ferguson's ever looked? Or am I crazy?
I don't know. Rogue Nation.
Oh
is-
yeah,
Yeah,
Rogue
Rogue
Nation.
Nation
She
is-
is just glamorous. She gets to
Yeah.
wear the dresses, and then
Yeah.
she gets to wear the bathing suit in Casablanca. It's just so good.
I'm a Greatest Showman fan. I don't know if you guys are.
I'm not, but I respect your stance.
I like the music,
I think Michelle
but
Williams is
I love the music. The
Here's-
movie is what it is, but the music elevates it for sure.
to me, the most ironic thing about Greatest Showman is I think 90% of the songs are done better on the cover album.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because when you get Panic at the Disco and like Kesha and like everybody's like, everything sounds better to me. And I love Hugh Jackman, but Brendan Urie is superior, and that's just how it is.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever listened to it.
It's
I
a
think
slightly warm
I'll
take there.
have to
You
try
got
it.
it. It's approaching hot.
Yeah, did you
Yeah.
microwave that take before you put it out here?
It's lukewarm right now. But I was so glad you guys could come on and just like hang out for a little bit, especially after I know you guys just did brackets for I assume close to 3 hours.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks for hanging.
Somewhere
I
there.
mean, thanks
This
for letting
is
us
a
hang.
good this is a good relax.
It's a good
after
wind down. It
brackets.
was a brutal show.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I ruined everything
Wait,
twice.
what?
No, I really did. It was my fault. I ruined everything twice.
She didn't ruin everything.
I did.
We just had a lot of very difficult decisions to make.
I don't know what this is in context to, but
I want to get your input on this, Jesse.
what's up?
Jesse, Batman 89 or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, I hopped in. I was on this channel though, but I hopped in the comments and I said we are a Batman household.
Mm.
That makes me feel bad.
I love Guardians, absolutely, and I respect the only because I only popped in for like a minute. I just got to hear Dan's take a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I get the subjectivity versus objectivity, but I'm just feel more attached and into, and I think Batman did more for the genre. I think Guardians did a lot for the MCU, but I think Batman did more for the comic book genre, and so there's no wrong answer. I can't be mad at it. I hate the matchup; it's upsetting, but absolutely
Right.
Yeah,
We
once
have-
you get far
we have
enough
a
in the
Batman.
brackets, there aren't wrong answers,
Right.
really.
And it's
Yeah.
going to get so tough.
It was
Who
hard.
made it, by the way?
Oh, God.
Brackets?
No, who made the Batman Guardians?
Batman.
Oh, Batman.
Won, and then Batman had to go up against.
Is that Apes? War for the Planet of
Yes,
the Apes?
Batman 89 versus War for the Planet of the Apes, and Batman 89 won. And then on the other side, it was Back to the Future versus Two Towers. Was that first? Back to the Future versus Two Towers.
And
Two Towers
back
won.
to the oh no.
And then it was Back to the Future versus Goblet of Fire. Or, excuse me, Two Towers versus Goblet of Fire. And Goblet of Fire won. And that's the one that we really fucked up. Because Mara and I both, especially, I definitely wanted to change my vote to Two Towers. But it was too
Well,
late.
I wanted to change my Back to the Future vote, actually.
The damage was
Yeah.
done.
And really, this all stems, though, the breaking point where we went into the darkest timeline with the brackets was when the Two Towers beat T2, because that's the problem with all of this. If T2 had been in here, it would have been a very different bracket, and everything would have been fine.
Yeah, it was a hard show tonight.
Yeah, it was tough.
I ruined everything. The end.
Almost nothing I voted for made it through.
Batman
But
89 went all the way through.
Well, that was it. That was my one shining.
We had to opt out. It's just too much stress in our lives. The brackets just brings us down.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I mean, and then getting married and all of that stuff. It's like
But mostly
totally
the brackets.
brackets are totally important, but not really. Thank you so much for inviting us,
thanks
though.
for having us over.
Absolutely. Thank you. I
Thanks,
know you
Jeff.
guys got to go here pretty quick, and you've been streaming for 4 hours straight, 5 hours
Yeah,
straight.
yeah. I
Close
think we
to it.
might try to finish up Dream Warriors and then
Yeah.
See how many shots we
Or
can get in
some
Robbie
dreams.
before he passes out on the sofa.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And then you can scare him awake.
Yeah.
Scare him awake when he's hungover, so she goes, bleh.
Nice.
All right,
Well,
guys.
have
You all
fun.
have
Enjoy the rest of your night. Great
Morning.
to see you both.
Yeah.
You too, Sean.
absolutely. You guys are welcome
Yes.
on anytime. It's same time, same day, every week. All right.
Thank
Have these
Bye
guys.
now.
Thanks, guys.
you guys for coming. Bye all. Those
That was
people
fun.
are nice. I like
Yeah.
them.
I like at least two of them. Laura and Dan are pretty cool. That Parker's
That Parker guy ruined my summer. I was supposed to hole up in my house and watch
Yeah.
movies
Okay.
long
Go
into
ahead.
the IG tournament. Go ahead. Can you? You're breaking up over there.
That's probably.
Are you
because I hopped over
delayed?
to Twitter because I'm trying to send a message.
If you multitask on your computer, yes, you are very delayed. You're choppy, but that's fine. I was just making fun of you.
You
Losing
can keep it
to
interesting.
Parker.
I could back out and then pop back in here
But-
or hit refresh or something.
Go for it. Yeah, it might be a good idea. To do so.
I got nowhere to be. It's up here.
Yes, apparently T2 lost. I haven't seen the rest of that episode yet. If you're interested, go over to, I believe it's Finally Tailored on YouTube. And the bracket shows are pretty fun. And a lot of knowledge dropped and a lot of good opinions shared from all comers. Feel free to retcon. Retcon what video, Drew? What are we retconning? The bracket itself? I think I missed that part. Yes, what lovely folks indeed. They're all swell people.
Sean, what have you been watching this week? I know you've done some IG study. Have you been watching anything else?
I'm always watching some stuff. I don't want to spoil my hand in case they're watching. I watched through finished the X-Men, my X-Men binge. I still need to finish New Mutants, but I watched all the rest of the movies. And then I forced my kid to watch Raiders with me. Like, let's do a movie night. My wife was over at her friend's house. So I was like, yeah, let's do a movie night. What are we going to watch? And I was like, we'll try to find the Paw Patrol movie for you. And couldn't find it. And so I was like, all right, we're going to watch a movie I want to watch then. And a movie I need to watch anyway, because it's been a while since I've seen it. So I was like, we tried to watch this one before, and we got to basically when he gets to the idol. And they were out. They're like, this movie's old. Like, yeah, it's 30.
That's why.
It's 40 years old. I was like, yeah, 30. No, 40. Shit.
Sometimes I feel like, because one day I'm sure we'll have kids at one day. Sometimes I'm so excited about the prospect of it, and sometimes I'm like, if they disrespect anything, right out the window. Because I remember I've told the story a couple times, but I was babysitting my nephew who was like 5, and I was like, you know what I should show him is the Justice League animated cartoon from like the early 2000s, because that is just
Batman the Animated Series, Superman, and then right into the Justice League. Yep.
I started with Justice League because I was in the middle of binging it anyways, but I started from the beginning. He got like 10 minutes into the first episode. He's like, this is boring. This sucks. And I was like, I pulled a Billy Madison on him. I was like, you know something? You suck. I was like, what? I was like, what do you want to watch? He's like, oh, Barney. I was like, Barney's a pedophile, bro.
It depends on your age. If you didn't grow up with it, I can understand that, because it's definitely a style of filmmaking, back in the early 80s. And I think it depends on who's showing it to you, type of thing.
The only thing that changed for me is which one was my favorite from a kid to now. Because ironically, my favorite as a kid was Temple of Doom.
Crystal Skull. Oh, okay.
Did not come out when I was a child. I was.
Oh, I forgot. We're not talking to Parker anymore. I got you. He's so young. Everything he says.
I know. Is Crystal Skull 2008?
2008, yeah.
Yeah, so I was 15. I was old enough to know that it was terrible.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. I just, as a kid, I like Short Round. And as an adult, I tolerate Short Round.
what Maddie says. Lords of Dogtown is awesome. Dogtown and Z-Boys mixed with Lords of Dogtown. Watch the documentary and the movie itself. Great double feature. Fantastic.
Yeah. Grind making it a great triple feature. Grind's the best skateboarding movie to have ever released cinematically. Followed closely by Street Dreams, starring Oscar-nominated Rob Dyrdek.
Let's also get Brink in there, because you got to get a decom. Name your team Pups and Suds.
Well, what about in Grind? They named their fake team the Super Skates.
The Super Skates? That's awesome. I saw Grind. What was it 2005? Is that when that came out? Like it's that type of era.
It's like 04, 05, something like that.
Yeah, I think I saw it when it first came out. I didn't glom onto it apparently the way you did, but I know you were a skater. I was more a rollerblader.
I think that it deserves a rewatch. Actually, if you go over on Rachel Silvestrini's channel, we did a watch along for Grind, which I was laughing and like quoting the entire movie. Am I still delayed or has it caught up?
You've caught up. Gleaming the Cube. I have not heard of this.
I've
but
heard of it. I have not seen it.
Nerd Chronic for the win. Thank you, Eric. Yes, Airborne is amazing. Airborne over Brink all day. It's a fine decom movie, but Airborne's amazing. I love that movie. Mitchell Goosen moving to Minnesota. I love that. That was the first time I had ever seen Jack Black and Seth Green as well, and just hilarious. I love Airborne. If you haven't seen it, buddy, you gotta watch it. Air Bud versus very different movies. There might be a dog in Airborne somewhere, but very, very different movies.
Maddie says, is Grind better than the Toy Machine Welcome to Hell video? Well, very different. One's an actual like movie and one's a skate video.
Oh yeah.
But anything with Billy Marks skate video wise is an A+ for me. Video Drew, check your Twitter messages and come talk about Midnight Mass because I have things I want to say. Or I just want to talk about in general. That sounds way more ominous than it actually is, but like I really liked it and I would like to discuss it because I'm sure for many reasons we'll not be discussing it on tomorrow's show because we didn't do a lot of spoilers on that show.
All right, Chris, you've got my attention. Gleaming the Cube. I'm Googling it.
I also hope people take this opportunity to Google search Pumpkinhead the movie, and because I can't tell you how frightening this movie is.
But what about Plasterhead the movie? Isn't that the one Josh McCouga was in?
Maybe next week instead of a regular Speakeasy, it should be a Pumpkinhead watch along. I am so
Christian Slater. Young skateboarder uncovers a government conspiracy while investigating his adoptive brother's mysterious death. That's Gleaming the Cube, apparently. Christian Slater as a 16-year-old skateboarder.
I have a skateboard movie. My grandma bought me this movie because she's like, "Oh, you like skateboarding? You're gonna love this movie." And it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Bringing it in. We always end up with like 16 overlays.
Yes, 100%. How many good skateboarding movies are there? Like the legitimate good ones. Like this is a quality film versus like nostalgic good. Because that's always the difference. Like there's good and then there's nostalgic. Like, okay, I just have fond memories because I watched it as a 6-year-old.
I mean, probably just the Dogtown movies.
Yeah.
I love Grind, but like I think anyone that's not into it is gonna be like, this is dumb. But it's one of those movies that feels smarter than it should be. Like,
do you get
the writing on it's really good?
Do you get snow out there? At least close enough by to go snowboarding or skiing?
I mean, yeah, if I have the vehicle for it or the financials to get a snowboard and gear and stuff.
How do you feel about Out Cold?
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen Out Cold? Oh, it's treat yourself, sir.
I watched Snow Day. That's a good one.
That's very different movie. Very different Nickelodeon movie.
My grandma got me.
Oh, okay.
I was not aware there's a Skateboard Kid 1 film, but this kid's dad died and was like, he goes into this warehouse and there's this old man that without him knowing apparently is his dad reincarnated, but reincarnated as an old man. But the old man possesses the skateboard and then disappears. But then it's like the spirit of his dad's in the skateboard, and these bullies like chase him off a cliff, and the spirit allows the skateboard to fly, and he's like flying through the canyon on the skateboard. And I was like, Grandma, what the fuck is this movie? This is trash. Pull this VHS out and throw it right in the garbage.
Speaking of Bruce Davison, he plays Senator Kelly in the X-Men movies. Fun fact. Is that his dad who died?
Maddie corrected me. Mid-90s.
Mid-90s. Jonah Hill, right? Yeah. Came out recently. Yeah. I didn't put two and two together with a movie. I thought Maddie was just commenting on the era of the mid-90s, which I agree with you. Mid-90s was great. That's when I grew up.
It's a good time. That's when I was born. Mid-90s, like there is obviously, it's about a skateboarding group, so there's skateboarding in it. It's almost hardly a skateboarding movie though. It is kind of about like the skate culture, but it is mid-90s is the appropriate name for it. It's about like growing up in a like outcast group that happen to be skateboarders, you know?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a little different. I think I forget to mention it because it was a drama piece to me about growing up with a backdrop of skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It is quite good. I've only seen it once still. Oh, we have a sort of surprise guest.
Sees the cart.
There was the invite in. So Sean, I have to ask before we bring on our guest, do you have immediate plans on watching Midnight Mass? What is your investment level?
No, but I also have nothing clever to add. So I might just say hello and let you guys talk. Because my kids have to be at school in 7 hours. So I should probably help them do that in the morning.
Oh, okay. So you're saying you might have to dip out?
Yes. I think that might be the best.
Then we'll just do a swap, and then me and our guests here will just run this shit to the ground, and it'll be fantastic. Good time.
Go for it.
All right, buddy. Well, are you popping out now?
No, I said I want to say hello.
Oh, you want to say hello first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, bringing on
so unprofessional.
I don't see the other half, so it will welcome Video Drew onto the show once again. Hey, welcome to the Sunday show.
Hey, thank you. There's nothing I love better in life than coming in with my Midnight Mass stand-em and just grinding every conversation to a halt because half the people have not seen Midnight Mass yet.
Well, Drew, specifically the reason that Lauren and I watched it is from talking to you.
Really?
Because you shamed us out of the room. You're like, why have you not watched it yet? And we're like, okay, you're right.
Oh,
you're right.
yeah. There was like 2 weeks there before I found Squid Game. What am I saying 2 weeks? It was 3 days there where all I did was watch Midnight Mass. 2 weeks. What am I, like, fucking amateur? I don't know. It took me 3 days. But now I do feel bad because it is that streaming thing where everyone's watching on their own pace. It's not like The Boys or something where they're going to give it to you like on a weekly format. So everyone's kind of on a different schedule with it.
That's the hard thing sometimes. It's like, you either successfully binge through something, because if you start a binge and you have a break, sometimes it's really hard to go back.
So hard. I feel like everyone and their mom made it 3 episodes into Russian Doll and was like, this is a good show, but then like stopped literally at episode 3. And all I wanted to do for a while was talk about Russian Doll because it's a fantastic show. Like you just kind of have to push on it after a certain episode. I feel like there's like always that, not jump the shark, but like a modern day equivalent of like hitting that point on streaming where it's like you watch a couple episodes and you decide whether you're in or not. And it's like sad because it's always the same episode that like breaks people off. And it can be like a very good show that just has one shitty episode, a la Squid Game.
Well, like I think not shitty, but like Ted Lasso, for instance, has been like 2 near flawless seasons. And then we had like the Beard episode to me, which isn't bad, but it's definitely like the Coach Beard episode in season 2. Where they focus on Coach Beard's like night out.
Oh, what show is this?
Ted Lasso.
Oh, Ted Lasso. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, and it's not awful. It's not like offensive, but like the show is like at a certain level of quality, and then it's just like this dip.
Yeah,
it's a hard left.
Yeah,
it just makes it change.
I'm not Ted Lasso season 2 yet. I just got to the part about like him finally like having a breakthrough with the therapist. It's good. It's a good show, but yeah, that's one I kind of put on the back burner because there's no rush. I feel like to watch Ted Lasso.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
it will always be gently waiting for me.
We were bringing it up earlier. It's like, can you really spoil Ted Lasso? Like, I feel like if I hadn't seen the season finale and people are like this happened, I'd be like, Okay.
Well, you know,
I'm
they say
gonna-
Breaking Bad is a show where you watch either, depending on your viewpoint, you're watching a good man break bad or an invisible man turn vibrant. I would say that Ted Lasso is a show where you watch a good man continue to be good, and then better, and then like still good.
I like that they're starting to explore depth, but obviously we brought you on not to talk about Ted Lasso. We got to talk about some Mike Flanagan goodness.
Guys, I'm wearing my Bev cosplay because apparently
I
know
saw.
so many outfits are like Bev.
Was it on Instagram that you're?
This was yet another tunic I have that looks like Bev's tunic. It's because her shit kind of looks like the Midsummer shit, and that I'm really into.
She is, and this is no commentary on Drew at all. Probably, I say that Roy Kent is one of the best characters on a TV show right now. She's the worst.
Bev Keane, yeah, she is. She's literally Dolores Umbridge meets like Nurse Ratched meets like. Someone else made a good analogy, but it was for something I hadn't seen, and I felt bad about it. Like I hadn't seen this one thing that she like was being compared to. Can't remember now, but she's just like Umbridge, Ratchet. Like she's just the iconic lawful evil. Like she's just lawful evil incarnate. It's just the embodiment of like what they call it, not sycophant, like the true believers. The true believers that are really dangerous.
Well, I think that's what Flanagan did such a great job exploring, is that the scariest thing in the show is not the supernatural element, it's the fanaticism. And I think
fanaticism, that's it. She's a fanatic.
That so applies to our world. And what I think is like interesting is like, man, I wish the show came out like a year ago, because I think there's so many I mean, we could still do it today, but there's so many parallels we can make to like, you know, how wherever you land on the spectrum, but just any like government figures or like, you know, we've been dealing with fanaticism a lot with, you know, whether it's related
kind of founded on fanaticism.
Yeah.
This country was founded by religious fanatics. I mean, you watch The Witch and you're like, yeah, this is like what the country was founded on. It was people escaping like religious persecution only to go even harder core into their religion stuff. What I really like about Midnight Mass is I'm Jewish. I like Midnight Mass because I'm Jewish now. I don't have that many contextualizations for Catholicism, which is a word that is never used in the course of this show, I don't think. And that's
there's another obvious word that is
there's several big words, but yeah, I don't want to spoil the very obvious word. My theory is that in this world, that thing doesn't exist, kind of like in The Walking Dead.
I thought that, and then they said something about legends, and I was like,
yeah, but they're talking about something else. They're like,
that's one thing. That's
they're
like
definitely not. They definitely don't have them in their universe. Like they don't know any of the things. So like,
I'd say like 99% of this show works like immensely, and I think that's like the 1% where it's like, okay, you have to just like pull this out of your head and deal with the fact that this doesn't exist.
I think I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with who killed a major character, because you kind of like know who it is, but there is no motive and there's no opportunity. And this is where I don't want to spoil it.
Sure. We're playing nice right now. I gotta pull something up really quick. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but I gotta bring up that image that I sent you and Eric on Twitter.
So good. Got this at like 7 a.m. from you.
We sent it to you and you only because you were the ones that inspired us to watch the show.
Dude, next up, Squid Game. Have you seen Squid Game, bro? It's so good.
I haven't. It is on the list.
Squid Game is, I would say it's very different, but it's almost as good as a Midnight Mass, just like in a very different way. But the problem is Squid Game doesn't quite stick the landing. Like 6 out of the 8 episodes are like so strong. Maybe 8 or 9 episodes are so strong. Then you hit one of those episodes. It seems like it was directed by somebody else, and like the show kind of starts veering in that direction for the last couple episodes, and you're like, oh no. But it's so strong up until then.
It is not. Let me bring this file on here.
Sure, I can do it. I can screen share. Sorry, I'm like eating Cheetos.
Oh, I tried to do it, and then it was just like saving us some weird document. But
I'm gonna have my here. I'm gonna use it with my Cheeto-friendly hands.
I think Midnight Mass creates a lot of maybe fun conversations. The wrong
great
word,
conversations.
But yeah,
I've had great conversations based on this. Like so many conversations. There's not many places where you can discuss spirituality, like like in the public sphere right now without it being just on the base level either a bad faith argument, like, or bad faith conversation that someone's trying to start. Like,
But
there's
I
no
think
way right now. Go ahead.
there's a lot of people that are like overly focused on the fact that they're like, oh, this is just like taking a dump on Catholicism. And I was like,
It's really not. It's
I was like,
absolutely not taking a dump on Catholicism. It's taking
I think-
a dump on zealots.
yeah, zealots and fanaticism. There it is. Here's the piece of beauty right here. If anyone has seen this show, you might find this funny. I hope you do. I don't know.
If not, spoiler alert.
Yeah. You can read that. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, we won't get into it. But that whole concept cracked me up in the show. I was like, bro.
I loved it. I mean, there's so much there because, right, it was all just about like how they have a really good conversation. Because again, like there's this big kind of like, not twist, but it's like a malevolent style reveal, and that you can probably guess it early on enough. But if you haven't seen the show, I don't want to be the asshole who's like, and then there's this thing. But what I love about the show is there's so many ways you can talk about it without spoiling it, because most of the show is just conversations about what happens when you die. Not what happens after you die, but what happens when you die, like the moment of your death.
Yes.
And it's gorgeous.
And I think that even because it's like less than halfway through the show, or about halfway through the show, there's kind of like the big reveal. And even once you know what's going on, they still find ways to kind of surprise you and like take different spins on these concepts.
Yeah. I think it's episode 3 where you find out what happened, if I remember correctly. That's where he's giving the, confession. And you find out the backstory, a little bit of what happened. So that's the episode where I feel like the big reveal happens. And then what's confusing is like only one spot, and it's after that. So I think it's in that episode is why did that happen to him? Not the thing from before, but like in that episode, what happens to him? Like who did that to him and like why? Is like pretty confusing. But the whole show is just a phenomenal like exploration of
And I'm really hoping our vague explorations of the themes and underlining tones of the show have convinced everyone to go watch it.
Am I saying it's an origin story of Jordan Hill? Oh, I see. So no, wait. I think that's like so good of a show. It's so good of a show because it really does something special, which is like kind of bringing you to the table conversationally. Like I get that like people are just knee-jerk reactionary anti this show because they think it's anti-Christian, and those people were never going to come to the table. Like the Bev Keens of the world were never going to come to the table.
No.
But for most of us are more like akin to like Riley's character, and we are just like we don't talk about religion. We don't talk about it in our social life. Like if you are religious, you kind of keep it to yourself because it's like not a cool thing to be like out loud. And like if you believe in anything, you kind of don't talk about it. Especially right now, it's so toxic in this sphere to like just have religion brought up. It's so difficult to have a conversation about like what you believe in and like and faith in like a positive way. And I think this show has like started a lot of conversations, or I hope it has, about like the positive aspects of faith, like community and like kindness, and like the ways that like a lot of the stories are parables for like being a good person to your fellow neighbor and stuff. And I think that's really beautiful.
It's also a cautionary tale about doing anything blindly, being passionate about anything blindly, whether that's faith, your government, or just having blind faith in another person. It kind of handles
to be
all
fair, if you had as much evidence for something as these characters do, I mean, I might have done like a Raoul Calloway's kid did. I mean, it seems like an overwhelming amount of evidence pointing to something, and I think it's like the mob mentality aspect of it, absolutely, but it doesn't.
Well, also the isolation. That's another thing that's handled. Is there's multiple characters that are dealing with some form of isolation.
I mean, they're on an isolated island. It's like literally just this one community. But what I think, and it really seems like out of time. Like this could have taken place anytime. I don't even know if they use cell phones. Like
they did, because there was a cell phone tower.
Oh, right, they knocked out the cell phone tower. They said, but it's so so anachronistic that it really could have taken place anytime, anywhere. Like this story could be as old as
you could tweak like 3 things technology wise, and it's exactly the same.
Yeah, you could set the story dating back to Jesus, honestly. Like this story can happen anytime, anywhere. And that's why it kind of makes a perfect parable, right? Like that's why it is so good, because it seems like it's tied to any one specific time or place. It just is a it's like a good Twilight Zone episode. It just is a good human parable about like our moral fiber and like what it means to be human. And I think it's so succeeded in that, and it's so got me to the table in terms of being receptive to hearing other people's like religious beliefs and like wanting to learn more about like the Catholic Church and like how this all works. Because to me, every detail I know about like the Catholic Church comes from movies and TV, which is usually like it's fucking superhero level Avenger style stuff where they're like in The Conjuring, where it's like you bring your cross and you bring your holy water and the priest comes and they get those demons out and like, hell yeah, everyone's doing good. And then the other half of the time it's like, and then the Catholic Church molested all those boys and covered it up. Those are the two things I know about it. But like to actually watch like the idea of like, you know, taking the communion and like what it means to people and how some people, you know, views it as a, you know, allegory for something and other people view it quite literally. And like the ways that transubstantiation, I guess that's what it's called, and like communion and like what it means to feel at one with something. It was a really beautiful conversation starter, I think.
I thought that everything that it did differently than Hill House. Really quickly, I'll ask Sean, did you ever see Hill House?
I haven't seen any of them, no.
No, man.
I get it. You're studying,
man.
but I mean the season's almost over, so I can give you the list of things to do in the off season.
No, it's not that I'm studying. It's that I don't like scary things.
Oh, this stuff is not scary. Let me be very clear.
Flanagan,
not Midnight Mass. It's not spooky at all. Like there's maybe 2 jump scares in the entire show, and
I think the creepiest bit of Midnight Mass, honestly, is like in the first episode when you really don't know what's going on. It's a little creepy, but as things get revealed, it's more fascinating.
There was one image that like bothers me, like when I think about it, and it was definitely like a head injury. You know which one I'm talking about? Like I didn't like that to think about like in the dead of night, but other than that, I don't think it's very scary. I think it's more like unsettling. And at the end of the day, I think it's more beautiful than anything else. It really is like it's a kind horror movie that those things exist.
When the scariest thing about the show is like revealed, they don't really hide it from you anymore. It's just presented to you in front of you, and there's nothing jumpy about there.
Just hanging out. Just
Hill House is a little more horror-y, but it's more.
Hill House is a lot more horror-y. The bent neck lady. That's straight horror.
But it's not. I still don't think it's as scary as like your average horror movie. It's more an unsettling show.
I mean,
you just
Hill House
feel
is pretty
uneasy.
scary. It is more gothic horror than like it is like the modern day jump scare horror. But when you realize that there are people in the background of every single like frame of that show, there's like secret hidden ghosts that he had put in the background of that show. Like you will see, once you look for it, you start seeing that like it's like a magic eye. Like he's hid people in like almost every episode of that show.
If I were to do comparisons, though, I think like some of the really good horror movies when I go and see them in like theaters and stuff, kind of watching them like this, I never felt that with Hill House. I was just like kind of like, oh, this is
because it has jump scares because he can do jump scares. Because if you've seen Ouija Origin of Evil or Oculus, he can do jump scares. I just don't think he's very interested in that as a device. I don't think he's actually that interested in horror like as a means for anything other than telling some larger story about human conditioning, because that's like kind of what Stephen King's about, and like that's why I think he and Stephen King have like really jammed together on Gerald's Game and Dr. Sleep, because he kind of tells the stories the way Stephen King does, which is very scary, but often the terror is not about the entity, it's about like the people.
And I'll say, well, both shows are a lot about relationships, but I think one of the things that I liked is Hill House is a lot more kind of about the mystery and slowly unraveling it as the show goes on, because they do flashbacks and they go back and forth in time, and it doesn't all fully really wrap up until the last couple episodes. Whereas Midnight Mass, it's more like you kind of figure out what's going on halfway through and then follow through with the story. By the way, I love those Nature Valley bars. They're so freaking good.
Oh, they're so good.
Those are the bomb. The peanut butter or the chocolate dark chocolate ones.
Sorry, our dog took a little poo, but in a good place. So she's a good girl. On the right place. On the pee pad. Yeah, I think that like Hill House and Bly Manor and Oculus and his other horror ones have been really concerned with what a lot of horror movies are concerned with, which is like the afterlife. Like what it means to be a ghost, what it means to be dead, what it means to be left on as a memory or as a ghost or as a story. You know, that's what like they're really concerned with. What it feels like to be dead, what it would mean like in terms of temporal stuff, like what would that do to your sense of time to be dead? Whereas this show feels very much like rooted in like what our real fear is, which is not what happens to you when you're dead. It's what happens to you while you're dying, which is like just being alive, basically. And that's like a really scary thing to like, they have these really intense monologues, like 3 of them, where characters just for 7 minutes will just look into the camera and tell you about what they think happens the moment you die, like in the moment of your death. And like, what a terrifying way, what a terrifying concept, and like what a beautiful way it's executed. Yeah, so that's my feelings about Hill House.
I think Mike Flanagan makes perfect horror movies for people that aren't horror fans, but also if you are a horror fan. But like, so it's just kind of like both.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have too much more to say about it. I've like talked myself winded these days, which I don't know if that's a bad sign, but every moment's a moment of death, right? So I'm gonna actually have to head out and make dinner and try to eat something before I get dizzy.
Of course.
But it was really fun talking about Hill House with you guys. I'm glad you stayed on, Sean. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
You too.
Yeah. I had to have Drew on because I have not talked on the show about Midnight Mass at all. But Drew, thank you so much for coming.
I'm so happy to talk about it whenever. I'll see you guys later.
I'm sure we'll have you on again. All right, take it easy. Bye. Thanks for being there.
I won't say that I wasn't listening, but I will say that, you know, when something isn't like when it's not registering, it doesn't keep in your ears, so it's fine. If there was any spoilers, I definitely didn't hear them.
We danced. I cannot believe how much we danced around the bush. Do you have any idea what the big reveal of the show would be?
Something about heaven and hell, angels, demons, God, the devil. No?
Nope.
Okay. No clue.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about these shows, that they're not really connected.
Okay.
So with you not being a horror fan, I can recommend to you Midnight Mass. Because it's 7 episodes, so that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's
a full hour or half an hour?
No, they're like an hour, 6 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it's like at least a full hour.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the creepiest imagery is in the first episode because you don't know what the show's about. So you start seeing things in the background, and that's what Mike Flanagan loves, putting stuff in the background. And for me, that's the jump scare. Because a lot of times you don't. You didn't see Hereditary, right?
No.
Okay. A lot of times, I think the most like successful things a horror movie can do is like, let's say, up in this corner, right? There's a face that's not visible, that doesn't move, and the shot is just composed and focusing on what's going on here. And while you're watching it, because the shot's still for so long, your eyes start wandering, and then you wonder how long that face has been there.
Right. Okay.
Mike Flanagan does a lot of that, and that shit freaks me the fuck out.
Okay.
And so there's something like that in the first episode where these kids are just like around a campfire, they're just like talking and stuff, and there's they're on an island that has like a bunch of cats. It's like a little cat refuge area. There's feral cats everywhere, and so you see little cat eyes everywhere, and then there's like one set of eyes or whatever, and they're not really moving. And all of a sudden, it like whatever the eyes belong to stands up and walks off the shot, and you're like, "What the fuck was that?"
and how long has it been there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so to me, that was the scariest thing of the show. That's the first episode. The rest of it's more building, exploring, uneasy feelings. But that was the only thing where I was like, I hated that. So I'll warn you in advance. But the rest, it's not hard to consume. Hill House is creepier. It's still like not quite with like Conjuring and stuff. It doesn't do a lot of jump scares, but every episode you are uncomfortable. Blind Manor, for whatever reason, I was bored. Maybe that's the problem with me. I feel like we had so many guests on and stuff. Just to wrap it up, because you game more than a lot of people we know. Is there a scary game that really you latched onto? Like
I was gonna something. No, not particularly scary. There's jump moments in this game or that game or whatever. Have you ever watched or have you ever played The Last of Us?
I this is my first PlayStation since having a PS2, so I haven't got around to it yet. I did just start playing Uncharted though. That's a lot of fun.
It's well, I talk about scariness because it's a game about zombies. Do you know anything about the story at all?
Some spoilers for the second one that is unavoidable
because the internet doesn't like to have their fragile masculinity challenged. The game, I wouldn't call it scary necessarily, but it's definitely difficult, and there are some jump moments because it's a zombie game. So there's some times where you're walking through and you think you're safe, then that type of stuff happens, and it's fun. I would definitely get that. That's a hard recommend. And if you don't have
Nathan Drake collections, that's going to take me a bit.
Well, I mean,
catch up.
I would say look up the release dates of The Last of Us show that's going to be coming out on HBO, I believe, with Pedro Pascal and Little Lady Mormont. Yeah, look up the release date and try to get through the games before then, just so you know what you're or don't. To be honest, because you might actually enjoy the show. That's always like a weird thing, right? Oh, the book is better, the movie's better, type of thing. It's like, well, if you watch the movie first, you can always go back and get more story from the show, the source material.
I listened to the audio book for Dune after the cast, and then the cast was in my mind when I was listening to it, and I thought that was great. But I still got the book story before I'm getting the movie story, so I still will kind of be able to come to it with knowledge. So The Last of Us is great, and I would say if you want to play a hard game, play it on hard. If you want to just barrel through the story, just put it on easy and just go through the motions. But you're really playing it for the story. But I mean, as far as scary stuff, I wouldn't say scary games that I've at least not that I've glommed on. Anytime like someone's doing like a spooky stream or something like that, like I think Goddard does that like every Tuesday. There's so many reasons that like obviously because we get along, we have a show together and stuff. Like I can't wait for an opportunity for us to just hang out one day. And one thing I would love to subject you to, but it'd be subjecting us because I also hate it, would be Outlast. Have you played that game?
Outlast? No.
There's now like 2.5 of them because there's like a DLC and then there's the second game. If anyone watching us played Outlast, please like feedback in the comments. That is the most terrifying shit. You're like, you go to like an insane asylum and all you have is this camera, and your only way to get around to the dark areas is there's like night vision on the camera, but you have to use it sparingly because the battery dies, and you never know what room you're going to find more batteries in. But there's no guns, there's no defense. You just like are making your way through this, and there's like some supernatural stuff happening, a bunch of weird stuff happening, and everything can kill you, and you have nothing you can do about it other than hide and run and survive, and it's the worst. It's so bad, but it's so much fun to play with friends because like just squealing like girls together.
Okay. Well,
so that's my endorsement for that. But anyways, I don't think there's much else to say. This was a fun stream.
It was fun.
Sorry for the 40-minute midnight mass, but more people should watch that.
No, not at all.
Netflix is shit at advertising.
They're the worst, but I think that's kind of their model is that they're just pumping out so much stuff that I don't know. I guess
they
feel like the cream will rise to the top, maybe.
Yeah, they're the biggest example of like word of mouth. They're like, we're just release stuff. I'm like, the problem is you release too much stuff, and you have things that just get lost. Like, Midnight Mass released, 5 more shows released the next week. So if you're not advertising, people just aren't going to watch it.
Right. The news cycle, and there's so much content that it just moves too fast. You can't, unless you're on top of it, you can't get to it.
I think you could get away with that when Netflix was like the only ones in the business.
Yeah, right.
But now like Apple's got like 5 successful shows that are doing really well.
Amazon's
got fair. HBO's kicking ass. So like Netflix is honestly the streaming service I'm on the least right now. So they can use a little uptick. I think.
Yeah. I mean, legit cannot remember the last time I loaded it up. Maybe to watch like The Old Guard or something.
There you go.
Polar.
What's that other one you have to watch? The one with the cops with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I like that. I like that movie.
Power.
Powers? Yeah. Project Power. I thought it was fun.
All right. Well, that's probably it. That's all I got for you guys. I want to comment on my cool new shirt. It just got in the mail, and there's a hole right here, so I have to stitch it tomorrow. So that's unfortunate. But,
did you order from like a screen print place or something? Or
Teespring, I think.
Teespring.
Or
Okay,
so one of the T places.
You upload your own image and just ordered it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, until what time is it right now?
1:13.
So in like 9 hours, we'll be back. I'll be back on here with Scott Fox. So we'll see. I will see you guys then. And until next time, where can the people find you and us, Mr. Wingblade?
At Sean Wingblade on Twitter, and currently at the moment watching with Wingblade, as is up in the chat on the Twitch channels. If you're watching this back and you're in the live chat, you have it on screen. And make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, hop over to Twitch, follow us at Watching with Wingblade. See you later, Chris. Thanks for hanging out. Probably heading off to work. So what is it, like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. there? Follow us on Twitch. Soon to be probably a name change, and we're still figuring that out. But we're doing a lot of gaming there. If I'm at work, Jesse hops on because he's bored at work with a faking a back injury, and then vice versa. You can watch me. You can watch me die horribly at Call of Duty every once in a while. And as soon as the FCL season is up, which I'm hoping to have some news soon, I will be playing some other games too. I really want to play Metroid Dread, which might be a little bit of a scary game. We'll see. Just from some stuff. It's more like jump scare type stuff. And I still want to finish Mortals Phoenix Rising, which I haven't got through as well. What about you, Jesse? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jesse Swift. I don't know if my internet's working because it's giving me warning signals.
You're grainy, but moving.
Right, well, as long as you can hear me, you can always find me on the Flick and Reel Fancast page, which is this. And Twitch, occasionally we are sharing that channel for the time being and figuring that all out. So I will play when I have time to. Might be doing some Uncharted run-throughs. That's been fun so far.
Mm-hmm.
Titanfall servers are down. A lot of the times I play Skater XL. And I got some Battle Royale games that I love to suck at. So there's that.
We gotta play together, play some Call of Duty.
Yes. Absolutely.
What we could do is we'll play it off of my stream. We'll do like a Zoom call or something, maybe off your phone, and I'll overlay you onto my screen. We'll play it together.
That sounds like a great time. Can't wait to swear at all the children. All right. So until tomorrow, we'll see you guys later, and keep it real. Have a good night. Stay safe. Make good choices. Get vaccinated. Trick or treat. Hey everyone, Jesse here, and don't exit out quite yet. While I have you, I want to take just a quick second to talk with you about something that's very important to me. Right now on the Flick and Reel channel, we're just a couple of guys sitting around and speaking geek, but we think that we can build into something greater. We think that we can build a community, a place for all of us to come together and talk about our thoughts and experiences about various types of fandoms. For this to happen, though, we do need your help, so please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Along with that, click that little bell icon that notifies you anytime that we upload new content for your viewing pleasure. So again, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting us this week. We hope we'll see you again next week. And just remember, until then, keep it real.